the story of planet growth. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76, Destiny Skynet. Above the sky, Aoshan held the Huangji Jingxi book in his hand, observing the fate of all living beings being reorganized in this book of fate. From time to time, he used a red pen to erase the fate trajectory on the Huangji Jingxi book, so as to guide the development of Han Huang Star in the direction that Aoshan hoped. With the waving of Aoshan's pen, countless crises that could impact the rule of the Dragon Clan were eliminated invisibly, and they ended before they even began. Although the Dragon Clan bloodline occupied the entire Han Huang Star at this time, it did not mean that the Dragon Clan could sit back and relax. In this Han Huang world full of spiritual energy, it is not only the reproduction of organisms that can give birth to the consciousness of living beings. Wherever the strong fell, or where a large number of living beings died, in these places, as long as there is a large amount of spiritual energy gathered, there is a great possibility that alien creatures born and raised by nature will be born. For these creatures, the Dragon Clan is not right to kill them, nor is it right not to kill them. Killing will cause a large amount of gathered spiritual energy to dissipate, thus creating a whole area of spiritual energy turbulence, causing loopholes in the Dragon Clan's rule over their area. Instead of killing these alien creatures that uphold the will of the strong or the will of death of the living beings, due to the legacy of the previous generation of creatures, they will be hostile to the Dragon Clan and then attack the ruling system established by the Dragon Clan. So in order to avoid this trouble, Aoshan simply chose to kill these creatures before they were born. The way to kill them is also very simple. Before a creature that is about to give birth to spiritual intelligence is born completely, through the guidance of blood, let the members of the Dragon Clan spontaneously go to the location, devour it, and become part of the Dragon Clan. The inevitability formed by countless coincidences is played out all the time inside the prehistoric star. The dragon descendants are guided by dragon blood and follow the original blood pulse. Inadvertently, they annihilate a large number of weak consciousnesses and turn them into ashes before they are born. The intelligent Dragon Clan, as if obeying orders, specifically goes to a fixed location to eliminate those difficult alien creatures. After all, before the data of the prehistoric star in the Huangji Jingxi book was collected, with Aoshan's consciousness alone, it is really impossible to completely control the fate of the entire prehistoric world. Above the sky, Aoshan annihilated the consciousness of a large number of living beings, while saying to Aoling, "Now you go to the lower world and summon the ancient Dragon Clan. Let them use the blood power as the foundation, so as to cover the entire prehistoric world under the power of power." Aoling nodded and said, "Understood." Then, Aoling's Yuanshan crossed the distance of space and descended into the interior of the prehistoric planet. With the return of Aoling, the Yuanshan Dragon Clan and the entire Dragon Clan, under the leadership of Aoling, began to implement the power coverage of the prehistoric world. Through the blood induction of the higher Dragon Clan to the lower Dragon Clan, the higher Dragon Clan and the Dragon Clan, according to their own preferences for attribute aura, soared to every corner of the prehistoric world. In the ocean, sky, and land, in the three prehistoric areas, a large number of higher Dragon Clans unfolded their Yuanshan and immediately began the process of forging power. Wind, rain, thunder, lightning, fire, earth, light, darkness. All the power concepts that exist in the consciousness of the creatures in the prehistoric star. They are all cast into power by the powerful Yuanshan realm Dragon Clan, and then incorporated into the blood power, forming the destiny Skynet of the Dragon Clan's rule over the prehistoric world. As the Dragon Clan casts more and more power, the power contained in the Huangji Jingxi book in Aoshan's hand becomes greater and greater. All the power of the Dragon Clan as ancillary power derived from the blood power as the foundation, and among them, the three powers of the sky, the ocean, and the earth are the most powerful. In this cycle, the natural energy of the entire prehistoric world is gathered in the hands of the Dragon Clan, thus casting various divine rules for the Dragon Clan to rule the prehistoric world. Those who do not have dragon blood cannot be born with spiritual wisdom. Those who do not have spiritual wisdom cannot join the dragon class. Those who do not join the dragon class cannot become gods. One by one, the divine rules and precepts were firmly engraved in the various powers on the prehistoric planet, thus completely erasing the opportunity for the birth of alien creatures. The way the dragon clan forged power was different from the power that Aoling had forged with his own strength before. Aoling used his own will to suppress the will of all living beings. In the contest between himself and all living beings, there is a great possibility that he will be overthrown by all living beings. Thus, he fell into the bondage of power and became a puppet of the will of all living beings. The power network forged by the dragon clan is based on the will of all the dragon clans of the Ascension. In this way, the will of all living beings in the prehistoric world is suppressed, and the influence of blood power on the dragon descendants is added to forge the supreme power. No mistakes in one sentence, one post, one content, one book, one forum, 1619, one book, one forum. The former is to fight against all living beings with the power of a common man, and it is easy to be overthrown by the will of all living beings. The latter is to fight against the power of all living beings with the power of the gods. It is a slim hope for mortals to overthrow the gods. Coupled with the power of destiny controlled by Aoshin and the Dragon Clan's solicitation of the intelligent Dragon Clan, the probability of this rollover was reduced to an impossible level. As the power network took shape, Aoshin used the power of blood power to merge the two networks together, thus completing the true destiny network. The blood network uses dragon blood to control the consciousness of all living beings, thereby completing Aoshin's influence on the will of all living beings. The power network uses matter to interfere with the actions of all living beings, thereby forcing all living beings to move forward along the established route with the power of nature. The destiny network born from the combination of the two is from the inside of the body, coupled with external interference, to complete the amazing power of irreversible destiny. The complete formation of the destiny network also means that the entire prehistoric world has fallen into Aoshin's control to a certain extent. Above the sky, Aoshin's soul swept across the Huangji Jingxi book and took it into his own soul. Let it calculate the fate of all living beings on its own, thereby guiding the fate of all living beings towards the prosperity of the Dragon Clan. At this time in the prehistoric world, the so-called living beings are the Dragon Clan. After Aoshin put the Imperial Book into his soul, he turned around and looked at the star that he had transformed into under his feet, and a sunny smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. The blood of the Dragon Clan has spread throughout the prehistoric world, and the power of the prehistoric world has all fallen into the hands of the Dragon Clan. And now, what I have to do is to concentrate these powers in my hands. As Aoshin's voice fell, Aoshin raised his right foot and stomped hard on the surface of the star. A rumbling sound rang out over the entire star, and the sky of the star began to be filled with a large amount of spiritual energy. These spiritual energies formed the sky of the star, blocking the lonely darkness outside the sky. The desolate surface of the star also began to turbulent constantly, and huge dragon temples began to condense and take shape on the surface of the star. Looking at the huge temple that was constantly rising, Aoshin laughed and said, "The courtyard above the sky will be called the Heavenly Court." Chapter 77 Dragon God Pillar. In the silent and lonely universe, Aoshin's stars wander on the cosmic orbit, following the traces of the cosmic orbit, and move in a circle around the Hanghyang star. Inside the stars, huge dragon temples stand on the stars, forming the Dragon Clan's heavenly structure. The Zhulang Temple is located in the center of many dragon temples. As the temple where Aoshin discusses matters with the dragon god, the Zhulang Temple carries the powerful ability of combining the power of the dragon god. Once each dragon god that integrates the power of power enters the Zhulang Temple, the power of power and genetic structure it possesses will be backed up in the Zhulang Temple. Once the dragon god who possesses the power of power falls, Aoshin can revive it with the power of power and genetic structure left in the Zhulang Temple. Around the Zhulang Temple are three equally majestic huge dragon temples. These three temples are the Sky Dragon Temple, the Earth Dragon Temple, and the Ocean Dragon Temple. It is the place where the three dragon kings of the Dragon Clan, second only to Zhulang Aoshin, live. In addition to the ancestral dragon temple and the three major dragon temples, there are other small dragon temples of varying numbers. Only the dragon god who has condensed power has the qualification to establish the dragon temple in the heavenly court. As time goes by, on this star transformed from the body of Aoshan, a number of dragon temples emitting powerful power stand quietly on the star, waiting for their master to move in. At this time, there is no blessing of power in the dragon temple. Therefore, these dragon temples are just the subsidiary products of Aoshan. With the entry of many dragon gods, the powerful power combined with the dragon temple will produce all kinds of incredible changes. As the real master of this star, Aoshan can use the control of the power of the prehistoric star by many dragon gods, to obtain the powerful power, to command all the power of the entire prehistoric world. In the ancestral dragon temple, with the entry of Aoshan, a huge dragon god pillar appeared directly in the center of the ancestral dragon temple. Outside the dragon god pillar, a pale dragon hovered around the pillar, like a guard, guarding Aoshan's existence. Inside the dragon god pillar, Aoshan stood in the center of the dragon god pillar in human form. The dragon god pillar is a divine tool used by Aoshan to integrate the contradictions between the stars and power. Any living being who wants to reach the heavenly palace must bring the frequency of the soul close to the heavenly palace. Only in this way can we use the attraction of the cosmic orbit to reach the location of the heavenly palace. If this method is not adopted, only the physical body can ascend. As for the specific difficulty of ascension, you can refer to the thundering attack that Aoshan faced when he ascended. Faced with the huge difficulty of physical ascension, the dragon god can only choose the way of soul ascension if he wants to reach the heavenly palace. However, the existence of power destined the dragon god to be unable to bring the frequency of the soul close to the heavenly palace. Once the dragon god's soul chooses to get close to the heavenly palace, then in an instant, the dragon god will fall from the throne, thereby losing all kinds of power and losing control of power. In order to solve this difficulty, Aoshan established the dragon god pillar in the heavenly palace. Only the dragon god pillar can interfere with other powers attached to the bloodline power through the power of bloodline power. Thus, many dragon gods were led to the heaven, and Aoshan completed the centralized control of the power of the prehistoric world. Inside the prehistoric world, natural disasters spread around. At this time, as the Yuanshan realm dragon clan controlled most of the power in the prehistoric world, a large amount of energy of the same attribute was attracted by the power of power. Thus, it gathered around the dragon god, and derived various natural disasters that destroyed the world. Wherever the desert dragon god went, quicksand spread everywhere, and no grass grew for thousands of miles, like a GD. Wherever the hurricane dragon god went, there was a wind of destruction everywhere, stirring up turmoil in the world, and causing a deadly area. With the concentration of power, the prehistoric world at this time is slowly evolving towards the separation of natural element. As these dragon gods stay in the prehistoric world, the degree of power gathering becomes more serious. Once the dragon god has not left the prehistoric world for a long time, the whole prehistoric world will become a desert world, an ocean world, or a magma world. Each dragon god is a huge source of energy. They will automatically attract the energy of the same attribute around them to gather around their Yuanshan, thereby strengthening the power of the dragon god. Fortunately, Aoshan will not let these dragon gods stay in the prehistoric world for too long. Otherwise, Li Hao will have to take action himself, set off the magic calamity in advance, kill all the dragon gods who control the power, and turn them into the source of the birth of all living beings. No mistakes. One post, one content, 1619, one book, one bar, one look. Dang. A sound of heavenly sound that only sounded in the dragon god Yuanshan resounded throughout the prehistoric world, attracting the attention of the dragon gods who were in the prehistoric world at this time. Hearing this call from Aoshan, all the dragon gods in the prehistoric world instantly gave up the attraction and control of the surrounding power. The Yuanshan left the body and flew to the heaven with the power of power. With the combination of the primordial spirit and power, the dragon god can now detach from his acquired body. Thus, he can use the power of power to forge his innate divine body and achieve the realm of innate divine spirit, and from then on he will be separated from ordinary things. The difference between the acquired body and the innate divine body lies in the division of energy levels. No matter how the acquired body is strengthened, it still belongs to the fourth energy level, the material energy level. Although it has the power to shake the sky, it is difficult to mobilize, and requires various complex formulas to complete the mobilization of material energy. The third energy level, spiritual energy. It can directly mobilize natural energy in the form of consciousness control. Although the existence of the third energy level, spiritual energy, is very rare compared to material energy. However, it does not delay the dragon god from using spiritual energy to pry a larger amount of material energy, thereby achieving the powerful power of destroying the world or changing the world. After all, although the attacks that external objects can mobilize are extremely powerful, they cannot delay their own strength. If you ignore your own strength because of your obsession with controlling external objects, it is easy to cause the cart before the horse. Under the same magnitude, the material energy that can be pried by spiritual energy is millions of times stronger than the material energy that can be pried by material energy. Inside the prehistoric world, with the departure of the dragon gods, their acquired bodies that had once condensed suddenly turned into various material energies and scattered inside the prehistoric world, thus repairing the broken prehistoric world at this time. In the heavenly court, with the arrival of many dragon gods, one dragon god pillar after another was established in the Zulang Hall. Among the many dragon gods, especially the sky dragon god, Aofeng, and the dragon god pillar where the ocean dragon god, Aoling, is located, presents a trend of many stars surrounding the moon. A large number of second level dragon gods belonging to the two dragon gods followed behind them and worshipped Aoshan. Chapter 78, All Living Things. In the ancestral dragon hall of heaven, the dragon god pillar erected by the power of the dragon god stood in the ancestral dragon hall. Dragon gods, symbolizing the power of nature, wandered around the dragon god pillar. Inside the dragon god pillar stood a blurry face, like the faces of thousands of beasts, and like the human-shaped dragon gods of nature. Thanks to the face that Li Hao had shown in front of Aoshan, at this time, all the dragon gods stationed in the ancestral dragon hall began to establish their own dragon god pillars in the ancestral dragon hall, based on Aoshan's appearance. In the wild era, everything that the strong had was a symbol of the times. In the center of the ancestral dragon hall, Aoshan looked at the dragon gods in the ancestral dragon hall who were combining their power with the heavenly court, and muttered to himself, the appearance of all living beings, condensing power, controlling all things in nature, combining self with the will of all living beings, and thus forging the position of gods. As time passed, the dragon gods completed the combination of their power with the heavenly court. Suddenly, a green light flashed in the eyes of the dragon god, and the dragon gods, who were all sentient beings, all emitted the fluctuation of their spirits of submission to Aoshan. The submission of the dragon gods, the power codes they had forged, all gathered towards Aoshan. Close your eyes. In the world of consciousness, when a huge blue dragon stretched across the sky, the incomparable and vast divine power overwhelmed the entire world of consciousness. In the world, the dragon gods led by the three dragons submitted to Aoshan, especially the dragon gods led by the sky dragon god and the ocean dragon god. As for the earth dragon god, this dragon god system that had just been incorporated into the rule of Aoshan was still in a state of being leaderless. The so-called earth dragon god was just a shadow of power. Roar. A dragon roared in the world of consciousness, and suddenly all the dragon gods in the entire world of consciousness danced with Aoshan's dragon roar. At this time, all the dragon gods in Aoshan's conscious world were condensed by the power of authority. As long as Aoshan mobilized his power, he could mobilize the power of the entire dragon clan heaven. Inside the prehistoric world, as the power of the entire world was concentrated in Aoshan's hands, suddenly, the world underwent a huge change, and a vast energy condensed on the heaven. With the every move of the stars in the heaven, it could drive the shocking changes in the prehistoric world. In the center of the Zulang Hall, in the eyes of the dragon gods, Aoshan's face directly changed from the original clear to more and more blurred. As time went by, Aoshan's face gradually began to transform towards the direction of all living beings, and the characteristics of each dragon clan began to be reflected on Aoshan's face. All the dragon gods who looked at Aoshan's face seemed to be facing the long history of the entire dragon clan. From the initial weakness, fighting against the sky, fighting against the earth, fighting against all living beings, until all the alien creatures on the entire prehistoric star were completely destroyed. It seemed like a moment, or a long time, as Aoshan opened his eyes. The blue divine light shone in the entire Zulong Hall. The mystery of the unity of the primordial world lingered around Aoshan's dragon god pillar. The dragon god pillar, formed by the power of the entire dragon clan, was undoubtedly the treasure of the entire dragon clan. With the material level controlled by the dragon god pillar and the gene level controlled by blood, the fate of all living beings was under the control of Aoshan. All dragon gods, listen to my orders. The mighty fluctuations of the Yuanshan permeated the ancestral dragon hall. Following Aoshan's order, the dragon gods and the ancestral dragon hall all listened attentively. The power of the sky is gathered under the power of the sky dragon god. The power of the ocean is under the power of the ocean dragon god. The power of the earth is subject to the power of the earth dragon god. Aofeng is the sky dragon god, Aoling is the ocean dragon god, and the earth dragon god is the strongest on land. Following Aoshan's order, the power dragon god pillar in the ancestral dragon hall began to move. The immense power of the three dragon kings gathered together, and the vast power pushed Aofeng and Aoling all the way to the realm of the Mahayana dragon king. After a while, two dragon kings appeared again in the dragon clan. As for the impact of the will of all living beings caused by the gathering of a large amount of power, it was suppressed by the collective will of the dragon clan. As long as Aoling and Aofeng can continue to hone their own spirits, they can steadily step into the real Mahayana ancient god realm. As for the remaining earth dragon gods, they are in a blank state. There is the concept of the earth dragon god in the ancestral dragon hall, but there is no will to control the power of the earth dragon god. Aoshan glanced at the earth dragon god pillar, and then said to the dragon gods under the earth dragon god, you still have 300 years. Within 300 years, either a strong man who can subdue the entire earth dragon god system will appear and inherit the throne of the earth dragon god. Or, after 300 years, a congenital dragon god will spontaneously form from the throne of the power of the earth. I look forward to your performance. The dragon gods under the command of the earth dragon god looked at each other. A strong hostility began to spread in the earth dragon god system, and they were determined to win the position of the earth dragon god. After giving instructions on the affairs of the earth dragon god system, Aoshan once again said to the dragon gods of the ancestral dragon hall, in the next stage, our goal will be to engrave the blood power of our dragon clan in all the power fields on the prehistoric planet. Let the blood power of the dragon clan be equal to the power of power. Without the blood power of the dragon clan, there is no possibility of mobilizing any energy between heaven and earth. I want the dragon clan to become the only supreme race on the prehistoric planet. Let non-dragons have no room to be born. You understand? The Yuanshan of the dragon gods received the thought information from Aoshan, and then said in unison, Your Highness, I respect your order. In an instant, all the dragon god pillars in the ancestral dragon hall were extinguished, and the other dragon god halls near the ancestral dragon hall and the heavenly court were lit up one after another. Inside the prehistoric planet, as the influence of the power of the heavenly court above the sky began, the natural energy of the prehistoric world began to slowly migrate, and the energy turbulence formed by the negative emotional thinking that originally permeated the sky above the land. Under the migration of the sky dragon god, they migrated to where they were needed. Thunderstorms began to form in the sky, and the water vapor from the ocean moved towards the land under the cooperation of the sky dragon god and the ocean dragon god. Sparse raindrops fell on the land, moistening the dry earth, bringing the breath of life to life on land. The dragon descendants living on land received support from the dragon god, and began to survive and multiply on land. In the ancestral dragon hall of the heavenly court, Aoshan looked at the land that was gradually recovering its vitality, and then looked at the earth dragon gods who were hostile to each other. All kinds of creatures in the frosty sky compete for freedom. The strong die, and the strong live. Chapter 79. When you are poor, you must change. Change will lead to success. On the vast land, everything grows naturally. In the wild era, the vitality of life is like weeds, which can never be killed or destroyed. The war launched by the dragon gods within the earth dragon god system continues on the wild and world continent. It seems that the dragon race is born with a fanatical fighting factor. Killing, blood, war, destruction and other destructive behaviors always accompany the history of the dragon race, and thus continue. The ocean dragon race, the earth dragon race, and the sky dragon race, while killing each other, maintain their aggression towards other dragon races. From time to time, the sky dragon race will descend on the land, or after the ocean starts a large-scale killing, it will return to the sky again, and continue to fight each other. Similarly, the ocean and land dragon races are the same, but because of the flying advantage of the sky dragon race, it is difficult for the ocean dragon race and the land dragon race to launch an attack on the sky dragon race. Therefore, compared with the war with the sky dragon race, the war between the ocean dragon race and the land dragon race is the mainstream of this era. The third order dragons, the dragons in the Giandan realm, have defects for various reasons, and it is difficult for them to get rid of the influence of the environment, so their evolutionary directions are also different. Except for a very small number of predators, the evolutionary direction of other dragons is usually towards weirdness, camouflage, and even curiosity. The dark ocean provides them with the best cover. Under the protection of darkness, every dragon of the ocean is the most terrifying predator. As for their food, it comes from the marine fungus blanket that the dragon god has created through his power. The marine fungus blanket absorbs the spiritual energy of the earth veins, thus providing the weakest dragons with resources for survival and the initial evolutionary power. Once the dragons have passed the initial weak period, the next step is endless fighting, until the dragons are born with wisdom from the fighting, and become the followers of a certain dragon god. As for the land dragons, they are evolving towards a strong body and a strong body, which is different from the ocean dragons who live in an environment of killing, and being killed all the time. The wars of the dragon descendants on land are more focused on collective combat. In the form of a group of dragon descendants, they fight on a large scale and fight to obtain various survival resources. And on land, they are divided into herbivorous dragon descendants, carnivorous dragon descendants, and omnivorous dragon descendants. In the sky, they can only evolve in the direction of lightness and agility. Unlike the rich genetic resources of the ocean and land, the dragon descendants have a lot of evolutionary directions. The sky dragon descendants took away all the sky race gene templates before King Jinpeng died in battle. So although the sky dragon descendants are invincible, they are also the poorest dragon god system among the 3 dragon god systems. In the Earth Dragon God Temple, there are 3 camps composed of dragon god pillars divided by herbivorous dragon clan, omnivorous dragon clan, and carnivorous dragon clan. The dragon ape god in the omnivorous dragon god pillar group is now being denounced by the dragon gods. 3 months ago, the dragon ape god discovered a huge spiritual crystal vein on land. With the help of the large amount of spiritual energy obtained from the spiritual crystal veins, the god of Dragon Ape obtained a large number of evolution templates through the uninterrupted wars, thus turning the Dragon Ape clan into an invincible war machine. Almost day and night, he launched wars outside the territory. In just 2 months after the discovery of the spiritual crystal veins, the god of Dragon Ape successively blew up the families of 3 dragon gods, thus kicking them out of the qualification to compete for the title of Dragon God King of the Earth. The dragon gods were terrified by the strong behavior of the dragon ape. They wanted to use the power of the dragon gods to force out the evolution template of the dragon ape, that is, the secret manual of the skills, so as to increase the powerful war potential of their own families. In the face of such shameless behavior, the god of Dragon Ape mocked the dragon gods with great pride. Either step on me, or be stepped on by me. There is no other way. You bunch of trash, I will wait for you on the land battlefield. Immediately after mocking the dragon gods, the god of Dragon Ape directly stopped this boring argument. He returned to his own dragon god temple, waiting for those dragon gods to challenge him. Anyway, in the eyes of the Dragon Ape god, there are only a few dragon clan groups near the Dragon Ape clan in the land map. It is a foolish dream to want to defeat his own clan with these garbage. The Dragon Ape's confidence in his clan made him mock the dragon gods without hesitation. While the Earth Dragon Temple was arguing endlessly, the Sky Dragon Temple near the Earth Dragon Temple was deserted. Among the 3 major dragon temples, the Ocean Dragon Temple is divided into 2 camps, hunters and hidden killers. The Earth Dragon Temple is divided into 3 camps, herbivores, omnivores, and carnivores. There is no mistake in the poem, the content. If Aoshan hadn't spent so much effort to deduce this race, the Sky Dragon Temple might not have existed at all. At this time, the Honghuang star was full of rich material resources and spiritual energy. In addition, with the help of a group of dragon gods, there was no shortage of so-called cultivation resources. What they lacked was the racial cultivation method similar to that of the dragon ape god. In the dragon race, where all kinds of creatures compete freely in the frosty sky, if you can't keep up with one step, you can't keep up with every step. There is no poverty alleviation strategy among the dragon race. When facing the weak, the attitude of the dragon race is to directly destroy them. In the deserted Sky Dragon Temple, Ao Feng looked at the sparse dragon god pillars in the dragon temple, and couldn't help but sigh. Although he was the Sky Dragon God King, with a noble status and pure bloodline, he was second only to one person in the dragon clan, and above all other creatures. But facing the lack of blood evolution templates in the Sky Dragon Temple at this time, he was powerless. As the saying goes, when you are poor, you must change, and when you change, you will be able to get through. After a period of brainstorming, Ao Feng really came up with a solution. That is the Sky Mercenaries, who use the super high-speed mobility of the wind god pterosaurs to help other dragons provide rich war supplies, and even personally participate in the war. This is to exchange for the bloodline evolution templates in the hands of other dragons, so as to provide the Sky Dragon Temple with an evolutionary direction. Ao Feng did it as soon as he thought of it. Immediately, he summoned the rare Sky Dragon gods and the entire Sky Dragon Temple, and began to discuss the adjustment and specific implementation of the mercenary strategy. Chapter 80 Dragon Ape Clan. All intelligent creatures are always unwilling to be lonely. It is not easy to expect these dragon gods who have come through the war to calm down. In this simple and innocent era, creatures usually only have one word for what they want. The strong oppress the weak, and the weak oppress the weaker, until the weakest at the bottom are eliminated. Maybe there are certain rules of order among the dragon gods, but this kind of order can be easily broken, especially when Aoshan, the ancestor of the dragon clan, has not intervened. Inside the Honghuang star, the dragon ape clan stationed hundreds of golden dragon apes, under the oracle of the dragon ape god, roared and issued a signal of war to several surrounding dragon descendants. Adhering to the principle of striking first, the dragon ape god directly attacked the territory of the hostile dragon god, before waiting for the hostile dragon god forces to gather. Crossing the boundary line drawn by the dragon descendants, he began to kill the hostile dragon descendants. The violent golden dragon ape strides with its sturdy thighs, crossing wide rivers and tall mountains. Its huge arms, which are as big as trees, hold sharp stone spikes and roar as it charges towards the group of velociraptors in front of it. Boom. The sturdy trees make a harsh sound of fiber breaking, as if they were hit by a truck. Then they fall to the ground with a bang, killing a group of velociraptors, and turning them into pools of bloody mosaics, and their souls return to the sky. Roar. A roar like a dragon and a tiger roars out from the mouth of the golden dragon ape, and its hands, like heavy hammers, are swung by its arms and hit heavily on its chest. It makes a sound like a war drum being played. In the heavenly palace Earth Dragon Temple, as the dragon race was annihilated, a dragon god who held bloody power suddenly roared, and the dragon roar like thunder echoed in the Earth Dragon Temple. Dragon ape, you are looking for death. In an instant, countless bloody killing auras boiled at the place where the swift dragon race of Honghuang Star died, and scarlet bloody aura emerged from the blood. One by one, the ferocious dragon races condensed by dragon blood were resurrected again. These dragon races condensed by dragon blood only had a lifespan of a quarter of an hour. When the time was up, they would be directly destroyed between heaven and earth. Just when the swift dragon god wanted to use the power of power to directly kill the entire golden dragon ape race, the dragon ape god in the omnivorous dragon god pillar group said lightly, "Swift dragon, do you want to destroy the selection rules of the Earth Dragon God King? Don't forget that His Majesty the Dragon Ancestor has stipulated that the winner has all the right to interpret, and the loser has only the iron rule of exiting the stage." The dragon ape's words were not serious, and even a little relaxed. Then it was this first sentence. But it made the swift dragon god angrily give up the natural energy mobilized by his power. Thus, the swift dragon descendant with bloody killing power returned to death again. For the dragon gods, the words of the dragon ancestor Aoshan were the oracle of heaven, and there was no room for disobedience. However, not long after the swift dragon god gave up attacking the golden dragon ape, several dragon gods belonging to the carnivorous dragon god pillar group roared and turbulent again. The power of several dragon gods was surging in the earth dragon god temple. If the power in the heavenly court had not been extremely compressed, the earth dragon god temple might have collapsed and disappeared by now. Dragon ape, wait, we will make you pay an extremely heavy price. The divine voices of several dragon gods resounded in the temple, and then several dragon god pillars went out, and there was no more movement. Looking at the disappeared dragon gods, the dragon ape said arrogantly, "A bunch of losers, I will not be afraid of you." It turned out that after the swift dragon descendants were exterminated by the golden dragon ape, several other dragon descendants were exterminated by the golden dragon ape. As a result, the dragon gods they represented were kicked out of the selection list of the Earth Dragon God King. The war on the ground was in full swing. With the rampant behavior of the dragon ape and the strength of the golden dragon ape, all of this made the other dragon gods competing for the Earth Dragon God King feel a strong crisis. This crisis did not only come from the dragon ape god, but more from the entire omnivorous dragon god camp. As a pure carnivorous dragon descendant, or a pure herbivorous dragon descendant, compared with the all-round omnivorous dragon descendants, the defects and backward trend are too obvious. Therefore, adhering to the policy of eliminating the opponent, coupled with the alliance of the dragon god who was offended by the rampant behavior of the dragon ape, a huge alliance began to appear among the three camps. No mistake, one post, one content, 1619, one book, one bar. Under the impetus of time, everything was proceeding in an orderly manner. 30 years later, with the help of the powerful combat ability of the golden dragon ape, the resident area of the golden dragon ape clan expanded by more than 10 times. In these 30 years, the golden dragon ape has fought wars with dozens of dragon descendants, killing countless dragon descendants. This crazy war and killing has been carried out continuously on land. However, such a fierce war soon exposed another major problem, that is, the serious shortage of population. So in order to solve this fatal weakness that delayed the dragon clan from becoming powerful, Aoshan summoned all the dragon gods of the dragon clan, concentrated the power of the entire dragon clan, and deduced a blood transformation pool, also known as the dragon transformation pool, based on the Zhuanghuang blood. All defeated dragon tribes will be thrown into the dragon transformation pool and become part of a powerful dragon tribe, thus providing support for the dragon tribe's tradition of eliminating the weak and retaining the strong. At the same time, in order to prevent the defeated dragon tribe from delaying the powerful dragon tribe's pace due to memory problems, the dragon transformation pool also has the function of cleansing the dragon tribe's memory. All other races that are not in the dragon tribe, once entering the dragon transformation pool, will be transformed into dragon tribes of the bloodline of the dragon transformation pool by clearing their memories. Therefore, after having the dragon transformation pool as a logistical weapon, the competition for the Earth Dragon God King has become more intense and crazy, so that the war in the entire prehistoric continent has been completely ignited. On the towering mountain, the golden dragon ape, which is tens of meters tall, roared towards the bottom of the mountain by hammering his chest with both hands, and the deafening sound of thunder echoed between heaven and earth. The sharp hair-like steel thorns exploded all over the golden dragon ape's body. The ferocious and slender fangs were exposed in the mouth of the golden dragon ape like a crescent moon, and the cyan dragon pupils looked at the dragonborn alliance under the mountain. Roar. A roar like a muffled thunder sounded in the throat of the golden dragon ape, and then the golden dragon ape on the top of the mountain jumped directly down from the top of the mountain. Behind the golden dragon ape, hundreds of thousands of dragon ape warriors also followed the golden dragon ape that jumped off the mountain. As the body of the golden dragon ape gradually approached the ground, the misty sky gradually became clear. Under the mountain, the Dragonborn Alliance, like a vast ocean, roared up, venting their inner desire for killing. Chapter 81 Descendants of the Dragon God. Boom. A shocking sound resounded from the bottom of the mountain, and cracks like spider webs appeared on the surface. Countless dragons were shaken into the sky by the impact of the golden dragon ape jumping down, and then fell to the ground, and then died without a complete body. With the leap of the first golden dragon ape, hundreds of thousands of golden dragon apes moved their thick thighs like dumplings. Jumping down from the top of the mountain, they started a brutal fight with a large number of dragons. In the decades of war in the prehistoric continent, the dragon god in the heavenly court harvested a large number of blood templates. These blood templates provided the dragon god with a rich historical heritage, and the blood flowing from the dragons in the war also stained the entire prehistoric world, engraving the brand of the dragon clan on every blade of grass and tree in the prehistoric world. As the most advanced and intelligent race in the prehistoric world at this time, no matter whether the prehistoric creatures in the future recognize it or not, they cannot get rid of the blood brand planted by the dragon clan in their blood. The advanced will always be unconsciously imitated by the backward, and for the dragon clan, as long as there is a little bit of dragon blood gene in the body of the living creature, they will be included in the ranks of the dragon descendants. And their fate will also be included in the Huangji Jingxi book in Aoshan's hand. This process is irreversible, as long as they are living creatures born in the prehistoric world. In the future, there will be dragon genes in their blood, because in this prehistoric world, only the genes of the dragon clan are the most adaptable to this world. If you want to get rid of the influence of the dragon clan, you can only jump out of this world, or jump out of the control of fate. However, how difficult this is, it is like a rich second generation can fight for his own career without relying on the relationship of his parents. This relationship contains a lot, whether it is the imparting of experience, the guidance of connections, or even the cultivation of character, all counted as the influence of the parents. And for the prehistoric creatures of the dragon clan in the future, the same is true. As long as they accept any legacy of the dragon clan, the Huangji Jingxi book in Aoshan's hand will put them under the control of fate. The reason why Aoshan sat and watched the endless war and killing within the dragon clan was to spread the blood of the dragon clan to all aspects of the entire prehistoric world, so that everything could be included in the fate. When the war on the prehistoric continent was endless, the wind god pterosaur in the sky domain finally joined the feast of the continent's blood fusion. Don't think that the prehistoric continent has fallen into decline because of the war, just because there are corpses everywhere and blood flowing like a river on the prehistoric continent at this time. On the contrary, the prehistoric continent at this time has not fallen into decline because of the war. On the contrary, because of the endless war, it is gradually surpassing the former prehistoric continent, thus pushing the Earth Dragon God lineage into a more glorious heyday. For the dragon god, the life of a mere dragon descendant is not worth mentioning. As long as the death of the dragon descendant can provide him with the latest changes in the dragon bloodline, the dragon god doesn't care how many of these dragon descendants at the bottom of the world have died. For the dragon god, only the dragon clan that gave birth to wisdom is his own clan. And all these dragon gods did was just to make their people stronger, and thus they use this as a means. Bloodline is the foundation of the dragon clan, and only a stronger bloodline can make the dragon clan prosper forever. In the sky, the wind god pterosaur with a vast wingspan joined the bloodline carnival on the land battlefield under the command of Aofeng, the sky dragon king. With the unique advantage of the wind god pterosaur occupying the sky, it provided intelligence about the enemy to the various dragon clans in the earth dragon god lineage. It transported a large amount of supplies, thus pushing the land war towards a more cruel meat grinder. In this great war, set off by the Earth Dragon God lineage, because of the competition for the Earth Dragon God King, countless weak dragon clans became history, and at the same time, countless powerful dragon clans rose up. In this process of bloodline elimination, the power contained in the dragon bloodline is becoming more and more powerful. Even as time goes by and the war becomes more intense, the power and authority that belongs exclusively to the dragon god, it is constantly infiltrating into the blood of the dragon clan, allowing the blood of the dragon clan to command the energy of heaven and earth, thus forming various strange attack methods. In the Heavenly Palace Ancestral Dragon Hall, when Aoshan saw the first powerful dragon born from the combination of power and the blood of the wind god pterosaur, he laughed and said, "God bless my clan, allowing the blood of my dragon clan to combine with the power of power, thus achieving the sacred name of my clan. As the first descendant of the dragon god in my dragon clan, I will give you the name of Yinglang, the dragon of Angshan. My dragon clan is destined to prosper." With the birth of Yinglong, the descendant of the dragon god, the battle for the Earth Dragon King on the prehistoric continent immediately attracted the attention of other dragon god systems. No mistakes in one sentence, one post, one content, one book, one forum. As one of the three poles of the prehistoric world, the ocean dragon god system discovered that the descendant of the dragon god was born in the sky dragon god system. After the Earth Dragon God system stored a huge amount of blood information, how could they hold back? You know, the ocean is the root of the birth of the dragon race. If the trunk is surpassed by the branches, the ocean dragon god system will not survive. Therefore, after the Sky Dragon God system joined the battlefield of the Earth Dragon King, it was once again strongly inserted by the Ocean Dragon God system. In this way, the Dragon King competition, which was barely under the control of the dragon gods of the Earth Dragon God system, instantly ran towards the direction of being out of control. Compared with the emptiness of the sky domain and the darkness of the ocean domain, only the land domain can support a long-lasting war. Whether war is the driving force of development, no one knows. But after the power of the three major dragon god systems gathered in the prehistoric continent, countless facts are constantly turning war into a truth, that it is the driving force of development. The silent night let up a little light under the moonlight, which came from the aura of the divine power of the dragon gods in the heavenly court, penetrating the barrier of space, descending into the prehistoric world, bringing active vitality to the prehistoric creatures. Under the influence of the dragon gods, the power between heaven and earth is like an active child, stirring everywhere. As a blue light shines down from the heaven, the ocean illuminated by the light suddenly raises some waves. As time passes and moves, these waves are under the control of the dragon gods of the ocean, becoming more and more violent. Soon, a wave of tens of meters hits the beach on the coast. The wind and clouds between heaven and earth are stirred by the power of power, and countless ferocious thunders are like the wrath of heaven, showing their power to all living beings. Under the changing ocean, a large number of ocean dragon descendants are constantly swimming towards the land with the rise of huge waves. Thank you Longiran for the 100 starting coins reward. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82 Dragon Clan History. The turbulent sea roared and boiled like a pot of boiling water. The power from the ocean dragon gods raised huge waves and sent heavy sea water to the land. As the sea water gradually invaded the soil on the land, the ocean dragons living in the ocean also followed the flow of the sea water and swam towards the land. Countless ferocious dragons stepped into the land with the help of the power of the ocean dragon gods, bringing destruction and killing to all directions of the land. The violent wind and rain rolled in the sky and the ocean, and water spouts composed of endless seawater landed on the land, destroying the mountains, washing away the banks of the rivers, bringing the coldness of the ocean to the land dragons, and harvesting the wealth of the land dragon gods. After experiencing bloody killings, the blood templates of the land dragon gods are rich. There are also many types of land dragons. In the depths of the blood of each land dragon, there are countless evolutionary directions. These evolutionary directions were deduced by the dragon gods of the Earth Dragon God system with countless deaths and a long time. It is a priceless wealth, and now the Ocean Dragon God wants to snatch it directly. How can the Earth Dragon God system agree? Therefore, under the traditional thinking of the dragon race, the thinking of the survival of the fittest, this war, which was supposed to be a competition for the Earth Dragon God King, was finally fought by the Sky Dragon God system and the Ocean Dragon God system. It was finally the turn of the dragon gods to roll up their sleeves and fight with bayonets. After the Ocean Dragon gods used their power to facilitate the ocean dragon's attack on the land, the many dragon god pillars in the heavens shone brightly, and a large number of dragon gods, with the prehistoric power as the core and the spiritual energy as the auxiliary, constructed the innate divine bodies, and descended into the prehistoric interior. Suddenly, the majestic energy between heaven and earth became turbulent, and countless thunders, clouds, rain, volcanoes, and even the earth veins were all mobilized by the power of power, and a scene of the end of the world emerged inside the prehistoric star. At the bottom of the turbulent ocean, Liheo emerged from the underground world. With the appearance of Liheo, or thick dark demonic energy spread around Liheo, countless cold and gloomy hisses roared at the bottom of the ocean that had been eroded by the demonic energy, turning the originally cold bottom of the ocean into a purgatory. Looking around, the soul received a lot of thought information from the inside of the world. These thought information were transformed into specific things and formed a specific form inside his soul. In an instant, the bloodline information belonging to the dragon clan was forcibly analyzed in Liheo's soul. A large number of the latest bloodline change maps of the dragon clan took shape in Liheo's consciousness, thus forming the history of the dragon clan's bloodline evolution at this time. Use your body to become the Tao, and let yourself become the representative of power. Thus, the brand of the dragon clan will be engraved in every corner of the world. What a brilliant method! Through the contact of the soul with the historical information of the dragon clan that permeated the prehistoric world, Liheo easily knew the strategic plan implemented by the dragon clan at this time. That is to force the entire dragon clan to passively evolve through endless wars, so that the power condensed by the dragon god can be inherited in the blood of the dragon clan. In this way, even if the top leaders of the entire dragon clan fall due to unknown disasters, they can also rely on the genetic information left in the blood of the prehistoric creatures, so as to return again in an alternative way. For the dragon clan, as long as the blood of the dragon clan is inherited, they can complete an alternative rebirth through the genetic information in the blood. If you want to become stronger, you must open the dragon blood that contains power in your body. Only in this way can you control the power of nature and achieve extraordinary magical powers. Once the dragon blood gene in the body is activated, the genetic information from the blood ancestors will subtly affect the consciousness of the younger generation of creatures, so that the ancestors can complete the transfer of consciousness and rebirth. The king is always the king, the minister is always the minister, the noble blood is inherited in the world, and the chaotic world becomes orderly. Liheo reviewed the strategic plan of the dragon clan that he analyzed and muttered to himself. Immediately after Liheo obtained the information about the dragon clan's history that permeated the prehistoric world, he stretched out his right hand and slightly closed his white jade palm. Suddenly, the dragon clan's history that permeated between heaven and earth began to condense in Liheo's hand, and a black sphere of mixed origin appeared in Liheo's hand. As Liheo's will moved, the inside of the black sphere suddenly became like chaos, and the figure of the ancestor dragon appeared in the chaos inside the sphere. In the chaotic world, a slender blue dragon with scales all over its body appeared in the chaotic world. No mistakes. One post, one content, 1619, one book, one bar. With Liheo's will and command, this blue dragon began the great feat of creating the world. Roar. A dragon roar that resounded through the chaos permeated the chaotic world. As the dragon roar sounded, the entire chaos was shattered. The clear air rose to the sky, and the turbid air sank to the ground. Soon a simple world took shape in the chaos. Then the blue dragon's divine body was shattered, turning into all things in the world, and derived natural life. Suddenly the whole world was filled with magnificent vitality, and then a magnificent dragon history began to evolve in this new world. From the birth of the first creatures to the traces of creatures all over the world. This time is a very long time in the eyes of the creatures in the world. However, in the eyes of Liheo, the outside world, it was very short. In just a moment, this world born in Liheo's hands evolved to the end. Based on the state of the evolution of the dragon race's history at this time, the history of the dragon race in this world is as clear as the lines in the palm of your hand, and it is clearly presented in Liheo's eyes. The history inside the world is very exciting, like an exquisite epic drama. The creatures in the world use their lives to play wonderful dramas one after another until the end of the world. However, facing this huge epic drama, Liheo's heart was not the slightest fluctuation. In Liheo's view, this epic drama played by the current history of the dragon race is indeed wonderful, but that's all. Because these creatures living in the world have never thought of challenging the existing rules and jumping out of this world. Noble, always noble. Humble, always humble. The way you change your fate is to surrender to fate and pray for the charity of fate. How can you, who are so humble, have the ability to transcend this world? Bang. A crisp sound rang in Lee Hao's hands, and Lee Hao easily crushed this world evolved from the current history of the dragon race. Chapter 83. The Demon Lord creates 3000 worlds. Taking a real civilization history as the foundation, it then evolved its historical branches in the void. With the help of the great power contained in the historical heritage, all the demons in the world were derived. For Lee Hao, as the first demon king in this world, how could he live up to his current identity if he did not evolve a true demon heritage? However, in the prehistoric times, the complexity of the history evolved by the dragon race could not support the birth of a powerful enough demon god. In Lee Hao's consciousness, a powerful demon god is not only powerful in strength, but more in the consciousness and thinking of the demon god. There is a world of difference between the demon god born in the wilderness and the demon god born in the civilized world. The former is forced by the environment to step into the demon path. Once the external harsh environment disappears, they will quickly degenerate, so that they are addicted to desire and cannot extricate themselves. The latter clearly knows the advantages and disadvantages of the demon path, but still wants to fall into the demon path, all just to be powerful, all just to not be bound by the complicated rules of the world. Not every creature can violate the existing rules and let their will override the order. Lee Hao easily crushed the world bead formed by the history of the dragon clan in his hand, and then swam from the bottom of the sea to the surface of the sea. As a powerful god who controls the power of chaos, Lee Hao can use all the negative emotions and thoughts in the prehistoric world to form the power, including the power of controlling the ocean. Compared with the branch of ocean power controlled by the dragon clan, the power controlled by Lee Hao is usually dark, weird, and even evil. Although darkness does not equal evil, evil generally has darkness to provide protection. Shuttled in the dark and cold ocean, the surrounding sea water automatically separated in front of Lee Hao, and soon Lee Hao reached the surface of the ocean from the bottom of the abyss. At this time, the surface of the ocean was almost full of power. The halos belonging to the gods were like suns, stretching across the sky. A large number of phantoms of gods wandered in the prehistoric world, thus going to war with their hostile gods. Lee Hao used the power of shadow to transform himself into a shadow in the ocean, and used the ocean dragons that passed by from time to time to cover his body. The Yuanshan sensed the turbulent power of the prehistoric world, and the chaotic power absorbed the negative energy lingering around, without attracting the attention of the dragon god. Lee Hao was like a daring robber, wantonly plundering the samples of the dragons in the ocean. Under such reckless behavior, the samples of the lower level dragons in Lee Hao's hands quickly became rich. In Lee Hao's view, since the history of the dragon clan at this time could not support the birth of the demon god he hoped for, then he would settle for the second best and cultivate a group of lower level demons by raising goo. Otherwise, according to the current situation, where Lee Hao had to do everything himself, Lee Hao would be exhausted or annoyed. With the ghostly shuttle technology and the abnormal control, Lee Hao was able to collect a large number of resources he needed in a short period of time. After completing the preparations, Lee Hao slowly lurked into the ocean again. After falling into the abyss, Lee Hao entered the underground of the prehistoric world without any hindrance. In the hot lava hell, Lee Hao's divine body was like a small boat, drifting along the direction of the magma flow. Not long after, Lee Hao arrived at the end of his journey, the largest active volcano in the prehistoric world, the undead volcano. Standing upright from the magma, Lee Hao's soul sensed the massive negative emotions and thoughts that permeated this place, and said happily, "What a great place." With his right hand extended, the power of power gathered, and the god particles lurking in the earth veins came into Lee Hao's hands like a young swallow returning to its nest, and began to change according to Lee Hao's will. Lee Hao divided the god particles gathered in his hands into thousands of pieces. The resources represented by each god particle could only allow one creature to be promoted to the realm of the gods. Lee Hao used a god particle to open up a small world, and then injected a large amount of chaotic thinking information into the small world. These thinking information exist on the soul particles. As a large amount of thinking information poured into the small world, the soul particles carried by these thinking information began to breed new creatures. The consciousness of the creatures was born in the soul particles, and then evolved into various thinking information, and a large amount of thinking information can also prompt the soul particles to breed the consciousness of the creatures. Looking at the small world in his hand, opening up, evolving, and finally forming, Lee Heo said with some relief, "It's really thanks to the existence of spiritual energy. Let the thinking information left by the dead creatures have a place to attach. Otherwise, where can I find these ready-made negative emotional thinking?" Evolving the demon clan. Naturally, negative emotional thinking is the best. After all, compared with the positive emotional thinking that is naturally inclined to order, negative emotional thinking is the best material for the birth of the demon clan. No mistakes in one song, one post, one content, one book, one bar, 1619, one book, one bar, one look. In the Zyrokian world, Lee Heo's Yuanshan slightly entered the Zyrokian world. It caused a violent turmoil inside the Zyrokian world, and the Zyrokian world was about to be destroyed by Lee Heo's powerful Yuanshan. Lee Heo quickly gathered his Yuanshan, controlled his Yuanshan to observe the situation inside the Zyrokian world without interfering with the Zyrokian world. The Zyrokian world is a world that was born by Lee Heo using a small amount of God particles to shrink the prehistoric world by millions of times. Compared with Lee Heo, the Zyrokian world in Lee Heo's hands is nothing more than a microscopic world. The things that exist in it are incredibly small. All the rules in the Zyrokian world exist because Lee Heo weakened them according to the rules in the prehistoric world. It can be said that the Zyrokian world in Lee Heo's hands is a miniature version of the prehistoric world, except that the energy level and world limit are not as good as the prehistoric world. In the Zyrokian world, Lee Heo's consciousness turned into an extremely huge eye in the sky, compared to the Zyrokian world, observing everything in the Zyrokian world. At this time, under the crazy acceleration of the God particle, the small world took less than a quarter of an hour from the opening of the world to the formation of the world. In order to simulate the history of material changes in the primitive world as much as possible, the God particle pushed the small world from a chaotic state to the completion of the world formation within a quarter of an hour, just like pressing the acceleration button. During this process, the history of the material changes in the world did not decrease in the slightest, just like a fast-forward movie. Chapter 84 Demon Lord creates 3000 worlds. In front of Lee Heo, who has mastered the operation of the God particle, the small 1000 worlds are presented in Lee Heo's consciousness in almost every detail. Whether it is a grain of sand or a mountain inside the small 1000 worlds, they all present a model state in Lee Heo's Yuanshan. The small 1000 worlds model in his Yuanshan is adjusted synchronously with the small 1000 worlds, so that he can grasp every change in the small 1000 worlds. And he can affect the model, and then exert his influence on the inside of the small 1000 worlds. After completing the comparative simulation at the material level, Lee Heo began to implant a simulation program that obeys his will inside the small 1000 worlds, so that this program can act as his baton inside the small 1000 worlds, and this simulation program is named Chiandeo by Lee Heo. With all the preparations completed, Lee Heo looked at his masterpiece with satisfaction. This world, which is proportional to the prehistoric world, will be an important place for the birth of demons in the future. After completing the first small 1000 world, Lee Heo followed the steps to operate and control the remaining thousands of God particles in the same way as the first small 1000 world. Finally, the vast heavenly Deo composed of thousands of small worlds was running steadily in Lee Heo's soul. Looking at the numerous small worlds in his hand, which were like glass balls, he named it with satisfaction. You can call it the demonic heavens. The demonic heavens, composed of thousands of small worlds, are equivalent to the artifacts composed of thousands of powerful gods. If everything goes smoothly according to Lee Heo's will, then in a short time, thousands of demonic gods will appear to help Lee Heo's work. However, accidents are the greatest beauty of this world. With the birth of the consciousness of living beings, everything will be beyond the control of the creator. Even Lee Heo is no exception. After completing the creation of the demonic heavens, Lee Heo began to engrave the blood samples from the dragon clan on the laws of the demonic heavens. The blood samples collected by Lee Heo were engraved one by one on the world rules of the demonic heavens, making them the original source of supernatural power of the demonic heavens. As a powerful race that has integrated its blood into power, the blood samples of the dragon race are undoubtedly the priority source of power closest to the prehistoric world. After engraving the blood samples of dragon blood into the magic world, it is equivalent to sending the results of the dragon race's evolution directly into the newly born magic world. In this way, Liheo can save a lot of effort. The material carrying the soul is ready, and the blood samples representing the source of supernatural power have also been engraved. Now everything is ready, only the east wind is missing. Looking at the magic world, that is running like a river system in his hands, Liheo stared, and a large amount of negative thoughts and emotions were infused into the magic world by Liheo. These negative energies born in war, fighting, and destruction carry the memories of dead creatures, and then reincarnate into the magic world, thus starting their new life journey. It's just that the memories from the previous generation will be erased by the ruthless matter. Negative emotional thinking is naturally inclined to chaos, and creatures born from negative emotional thinking will not tend to abide by order, even if their memories are cleansed. After the demonic heavens, if you want to create an order that is applicable to the entire world, you need a super strong force that can overturn the entire world, that is, to obtain the highest authority of a small world. However, another rule of the demonic heavens will make this order that may be applicable to the entire world eventually move towards collapse. And this rule is that the energy and matter contained in each realm in the demonic heavens can only breed the birth of a demon god. Once a demon god is born in a realm, then as a gift for the birth of the demon god, the entire small world will become a resource for the demon god to grow and transcend. Therefore, in the demonic heavens, there are only two results for creatures in the end, either to destroy all living things and transcend the world, or to sink into the karma of the mortal world and never transcend. In the world of the demonic path, under the gaze of the heavenly law transformed by Liheo's Yuanshan, the initial throbbing of the living beings began to breed in the demonic path. Under the heavenly law the first living beings of the world born in accordance with the will of heaven appeared. Let the specific development of the demonic path begin to move towards an unknown trajectory. Unlike the world created by Liheo before, there is an orderly vein to be found. In the demonic path, these living beings born by the chaotic will, their every move is unpredictable. Of course, it is not really unpredictable, but the resources required to predict their movements are several times the resources required to predict those orderly creatures. Since ancient times, chaos has been more funny, and mentally retarded children have more fun. It is a thankless task to use the thinking logic of normal people to predict those abnormal people who are born with different thinking from ordinary people. To study normal people, you only need to formulate a set of universal laws to make them move and abide by them. To study abnormal people, you need to formulate a set of rules for dealing with the world for them separately, and the energy required is incomparable. There is no mistake in the first post. Check out the content of the book on 629. For Liheo, the chaotic creatures in the magic world are just the necessary resources for the birth of the devil. Those who abide by the order can easily sink into the rules of order and cannot extricate themselves from it. Only the chaotic creatures who are born to be incompatible with order are the main force to transcend the world. Those who are different from ordinary people are either crazy or geniuses. Compared with the abnormal creatures who are obsessed with becoming demons, normal creatures are the outliers in the magic world. In the magic world, as more and more creatures are born adhering to the will of heaven, the deviation of each world is also getting bigger and bigger. The two worlds with the largest deviation can no longer see that they once came from the same source. After withdrawing his soul from the demonic heavens, Liheo looked at the demonic heavens in his hand, which were gradually boiling with demonic energy, and muttered to himself, whether you can transcend a world and reach the prehistoric world depends on your own luck. Then, Liheo threw it casually, and the entire world of the heavens, which was filled with crystal walls, disappeared directly in Liheo's hands. After throwing away the demonic heavens, Liheo looked at the golden rock egg covered by countless magma not far in front of him with his hands behind his back. He said with a wicked smile, I said that I'm a petty person. Dragons who keep causing trouble for me, please enjoy the grand celebration I prepared for you next. Give darkness to light, and despair to hope. At the most glorious moment, knock it to the bottom of the valley. Dragons, this gift from me, please accept it with honor. Thanks to Loi Sufeng 126. My eyes are dark for 100 starting coins. Thanks to 141,201,230,121,126 for the reward of 100 Kidian coins. Chapter 85. Dragon ruled the wilderness for 300 years. In the underground world, hot magma quietly flows in the earth veins, and Liheo stands on the magma. He walks towards the golden rock egg. The power of chaotic power is like a large magnet, attracting the negative emotions and thoughts around the golden rock egg, turning it into pure magic energy, and strengthening Liheo's power. Crossing the magma river, and arriving in front of the golden rock egg, Liheo looks at the mysterious lines that appear and disappear on the golden rock egg. He touches these mysterious lines with his own soul. In an instant, the genetic information about the sky race contained in these lines, even the strong unwillingness before the fall of the sky race, all poured into Liheo's consciousness like a tide. As if he had experienced it personally, Liheo's consciousness entered the years when the dragon race and the sky race fought for hegemony, and in the form of thousands of incarnations, he sensed the desperate information before the death of all the sky races at that time. This kind of thinking information with strong subjective desires made Liheo's soul grow rapidly and become stronger, pushing Liheo one step further towards the Mahayan or ancient god realm. At the same time, these subjective thinking information from the sky race is also constantly affecting Liheo's self-will, trying to devour Liheo's will, and turn him into a thinking slave. However, with the strength of Liheo's astral will, the thinking information of mere wild race can't affect Liheo's self-will at all. Instead, it was easily crushed by Liheo's will and couldn't stir up a little wave. After Liheo accepted the remaining thinking information of the entire sky race, Liheo's hand gently covered the surface of the golden rock egg. Then, a strong will from Liheo penetrated into the interior of the golden rock egg like an irresistible falling meteorite. The golden rock egg is a thing formed by the power of the entire sky race, and the thinking information of the entire sky race exists inside the golden rock egg. These mixed thinking information made the golden rock egg at this time like chaos, without the slightest law. In order to successfully breed the golden rock egg and break out of the shell, to give birth to a new life, these thoughts need to compete for a main consciousness over a long period of time, so as to gather the thoughts in the golden rock egg, to form a powerful life that carries all the power of the sky race. However, this time is very long, and there is even a great possibility that the golden rock egg will consume all its material energy. There is no consciousness that can dominate all thoughts, so that the golden rock egg will become a dead fetus. Now, Liheo adheres to the purpose of breaking the dragon race's monopoly on the entire prehistoric world at this time, and inputs his tyrannical will into the golden rock egg, wanting to use his own will to help the golden rock egg breed. The incomparably vast will of heaven penetrated into the chaotic consciousness inside the golden rock egg. With Liheo's will as the core, a main consciousness that depends on Liheo's will was constructed. Then, based on this, it began to madly suppress and absorb other chaotic thoughts inside the golden rock egg, turning it into part of the main consciousness. As Liheo's steps flowed like clouds and water, the signs of life in the golden rock egg became stronger and stronger. The golden rock egg in the past was equivalent to a large and useless object. Although it had huge energy, it was not targeted. Now, as the main consciousness gradually occupied all the will inside the golden rock egg under the leadership of Liheo, the targeting of the will of the living creature became more and more obvious. Everything went very smoothly. According to Liheo's estimation, in a short time, this golden rock egg carrying the inheritance of the entire sky race will be able to break out of the shell. However, facing this result, Liheo was not happy at all. It's still not enough. With the main consciousness at this time, if you want to resist the Zulong, Aoshan's power world composed of blood is still far from enough. Although the golden rock egg in Liheo's hand is more and more full of life, this era belongs to the Dragon Clan after all. The Dragon Clan is searching for ways to integrate the Dragon Clan blood into power with endless wars. Then let the Dragon Clan's blood dominate all the natural changes in the prehistoric world. If the main consciousness breaks out of the shell at this time, relying on the remaining power of the sky race, it is impossible to resist the power world formed by the dragon race. The main consciousness breaking out of the shell at this time is equivalent to taking the sword of the previous dynasty and beheading the officials of the current dynasty. Although the sword is still the same sword, the imperial power attached to the sword has long disappeared. Looking at the main consciousness whose breath of life is becoming more and more intense and is about to reach the limit of breaking out of the shell, Lee Heo frowned and said, "Fate. Fate. If you want to resist fate, you can only succeed with an unyielding soul and an immortal will. It seems that your birth time still needs to be postponed." As Lee Heo spoke, the main consciousness that was growing stronger suddenly became silent, and then Lee Heo used his supreme power to infuse a large amount of thought information into the golden rock egg. Almost in an instant, the breath of life in the golden rock egg quickly deflated like a leaking balloon. Of course, the deflated breath of life does not mean the demise of the main consciousness. When the breath of life deflated, the thought information contained in the golden rock egg suddenly evolved from the stream to the sea. The vast breath spread from the inside of the golden rock egg to the surroundings. Everything standing here was as powerless as facing the stars. By enhancing the potential of the golden rock egg, Lee Heo forcibly raised the main consciousness, which was born at the limit of the Yuanshan, to the same level as Aoshan. In order to achieve this goal, Lee Heo used his own will on the Yuanshi star to complete this operation. Time passed quickly, and Lee Heo continued to improve the powerful soul after the birth of the main consciousness in the underground world. On the surface world, nearly 300 years have passed, and it is less than a year since the birth of the Earth Dragon God King. After 300 years of endless wars, the entire dragon clan has also deepened its research on blood to a more advanced level. They have integrated the power of power into the body of every creature with dragon blood, and have laid a solid foundation in the depths of their souls. As the dragon race fully upgraded its bloodline, the dragon race now has all the bloodline information of the dragon race deep in the bloodline of almost every creature with dragon blood. In other words, even an ordinary creature can be promoted from a dragon descendant to the level of the Earth Dragon God King by constantly tapping into the power of his own bloodline. However, deep in the bloodline of all creatures, there is the will of the bloodline developer. In other words, although you can be promoted to the level of the Earth Dragon God King, it is unknown whether the consciousness, after reaching the level of the Earth Dragon God King is you. Anyway, this way of bloodline inheritance is more beneficial to the more powerful the dragon races. Chapter 86, The Heaven and Earth are in turmoil. 300 years passed quickly. Lee Heo concentrated the negative emotions and thoughts generated by the Dragon Clan's 300 years of war in the underground world and poured them into the golden rock egg. And he used his strong will to help the golden rock egg suppress the negative emotional thoughts that interfered with the thinking of living beings. Let the main consciousness in the golden rock egg not be controlled by negative emotional thoughts, and can also obtain the strong will in these emotional thoughts. In the prehistoric world, the so-called positive emotional thinking and negative emotional thinking are not divided according to the so-called good and evil concepts. The standard for dividing positive and negative emotional thinking is whether to abide by a fixed order. For the main consciousness in the golden rock egg, Lee Heo's will help the main consciousness in the golden rock egg and suppress the interference of the thinking power of negative emotional thinking, so that it will not be troubled by the thought impact and fall into disorder. Therefore, according to Lee Heo's standard for dividing gods and demons, the main consciousness in the golden rock egg still belongs to the ranks of gods. Different from the order standard of the dragon race divided by blood level, the division standard set by Lee Heo for the main consciousness in the golden rock egg is divided by the strength of the soul will. With Lee Heo's soul will as the highest, the subordinate wills after the main consciousness are suppressed layer by layer to divide the soul level. Lee Heo sensed the powerful breath that was constantly expanding in the golden rock egg, and the voice sounded like a sacred sound in the depths of the main consciousness. Your race is the Phoenix, and your name is Huangshan. As Lee Heo's soul as the main consciousness was finalized, a loud cry sounded from the golden rock egg, and then a magnificent and huge soul pressure began to spread around. The hot magma gathered around the golden rock egg like a flowing stream, and the boundless energy between heaven and earth began to gather towards the golden rock egg. The dazzling golden color flickered on the shell of the golden rock egg, and fine cracks appeared on the eggshell, and an extremely dazzling red light was reflected from the cracks. The entire underground world was constantly shaking. This force that shook the heaven and earth spread to the surface of the continent with the golden rock egg as the center. The boiling magma flowed out from the crater, and a large number of phoenix phantoms took shape on the magma. Lee Heo released his right hand that was resting on the golden rock egg, slowly retreated to the back, and soon disappeared directly into the underground world. At this time, with Lee Heo's identity, it was not suitable to stay here. With the disappearance of Lee Heo, the will named Huangshan began to release the huge energy he possessed unscrupulously like a flood that had lost control, and announced his existence to the world. In the ancestral dragon hall of the heavenly court, after 300 years of war and fighting, the successor of the Earth Dragon God King was officially confirmed. It was the Dragon Ape God who had been the fuse for provoking the melee between the three major dragon gods. Under the witness of the dragon gods, the earth power in the ancestral dragon hall gathered towards the dragon ape god. All powers under the power of the earth were transferred to the power of the dragon ape god through the submission of a group of earth dragon gods, thus establishing the position of the earth dragon god king of the dragon ape god. The so-called process of selecting the dragon god king is very simple. For the dragon clan, the strongest person who violently suppressed all the dragon gods of the earth is the earth dragon god king. With the establishment of the Earth Dragon God King, the Book of Destiny in Aoshan's hand, the Imperial Book of Shocking the World, finally completed the last piece of the puzzle. The fate of the sky, the earth, and the ocean is like a huge net, covering everything in the entire prehistoric world. All the ways of controlling power that do not exist in the prehistoric world by the dragon bloodline are banned, thus establishing the immortal supreme status of the dragon bloodline. However, just when Aoshan was happy that the dragon clan had achieved the supreme race in the map of the fate of the earth, a huge wave followed the mysterious connection in the dragon bloodline and extended directly to Aoshan. Boom. The collision of powerful forces of the same level directly caused the newly accomplished Earth Dragon God King to die. His soul collapsed, and everything returned to the creatures of the earth. After 300 years of fighting, the poor dragon ape god finally became the Earth Dragon God King, but before he could enjoy the majesty of the Earth Dragon God King, he was directly killed by the newly born Huangshan. It was really sad and lamentable. However, the death of the Earth Dragon God King did not mean the end of things, but on the contrary, it was the beginning of a catastrophe. On the prehistoric continent, with the fall of the Earth Dragon God King, the boundless power of the Earth's power, it turned into a spring rain with endless vitality, dripping on the land, opening up the spiritual wisdom of many creatures on the land, and letting it enter a new era. Countless things that were watered by the raindrops turned into by the death of the dragon ape, all use the blood of the Earth Dragon God King as the foundation outside of their souls, thus forging a powerful body, and transforming into it. All of a sudden, countless creatures with dragon blood, but bred by the essence of heaven and earth, were active on the earth. While the creatures that had transformed on land were rejoicing, everything that happened below told these newly transformed creatures a cruel fact. Behind the pie in the sky, there was the beginning of a terrible disaster. With the end of the first confrontation between Aoshan and Huangshan, the Earth Dragon God King died. No mistakes. One post, one content, 1619, one book, one bar, one look. The angry Aoshan directly used the fate network that the dragon clan had arranged in the prehistoric world. Mobilizing all the power of the prehistoric world, a giant blue eye was formed in the sky, the Eye of Heaven. The Eye of Heaven, which exuded boundless power, looked into the depths of the undead volcano without any delay. Penetrating the barrier of magma and thick soil, it looked at Huangshan, who was struggling to break out of the eggshell. Golden pen remnants. As if the voice jumped out from the teeth, it sounded between heaven and earth, and countless creatures knelt down at the feet of the Eye of Heaven in fear. Even though Aoshan did not look at those creatures directly at this time, the fear from the depths of their blood made them involuntarily submit to Aoshan and the master of the fate of this world. The dragon clan's layout for more than 300 years showed its terrible power at the moment when the Eye of Heaven appeared. As the ancestor of the blood of all creatures, Aoshan controls the fate of all creatures in the prehistoric world. Regardless of whether the creatures agree or not, this terrible control power from the depths of the blood is not something that ordinary creatures, or even gods, can resist. And the more powerful the creatures are, the more terrible Aoshan's control over them is. The power world constructed by Aoshan is extremely strict. In the prehistoric world at this time, regardless of whether the creatures agree or not, they must use the blood of the dragon clan to construct their own bodies and exist in this world. Without the dragon bloodline as the foundation, living things cannot exist in this world. This terrible fact applies to the upcoming Huangshan. Thanks to Zizigi for the 100 starting coins reward. Chapter 87, Fate Revealed, Golden Rock Falls. The sky is angry, and the world changes color. Rumbling thunder fills the sky, ferocious thunder dragons flash through the dark clouds, and the huge eye of the sky burns with anger. Aoshan finally gathered the 3 dragon god systems, but just when it was formed, it was disrupted by the remnants of the golden peng that he defeated. Although the death of the Earth Dragon God King at this time will not have any impact on Aoshan's control over the fate of all living beings. But if Aoshan does not do something about this face-slapping behavior, how can he lead the dragon gods? It's just right to use you to test my new method. As Aoshan said, his will moved, and the Huangji Jingxi book controlled by Aoshan quickly flipped. Almost in an instant, the pages of the Huangji Jingxi book turned to the page of the Earth's bloodline. The words like gods echoed between heaven and earth, punish. As Aoshan's divine voice sounded between heaven and earth, the power existing in heaven and earth was spontaneously mobilized, and after a series of seemingly coincidental compositions, the final result is constantly deduced towards the fate of Huangshan's death. This deduction method is very fast, and in the moment, when the minds of the gods and powerful people cannot react, Huangshan's fate of death is infinitely close to death. As the source of all bloodlines in the prehistoric world, coupled with Aoshan's ability to mobilize power, Aoshan can sentence any creature to death at any time and any place. And once this sentence is established, it can never be changed. However, Li Hao had anticipated this outcome long before creating the Phoenix, and made targeted arrangements for it. By helping Huangshan to cheat, Huangshan forged an extremely powerful Yuan Shen, so that Huangshan had the ability to resist fate. In the prehistoric world, once the result of fate is established, it cannot be changed. Even if Li Hao wants to change the result of fate, he must use a strong enough force to force the trajectory of fate to develop in another direction. In order to avoid the worst fate, the way destiny is activated is to use countless small conditions to converge into an irresistible trend, and finally crush everything with an absolute trend. There are only 2 ways to resist destiny. One is to force the trajectory of destiny, to avoid the worst option, by twisting the small conditions before destiny is activated. The second is to forcibly cover the original trajectory of destiny with a more powerful trajectory of destiny. For Aoshan, the source of destiny, it is undoubtedly unrealistic to distort the trajectory of destiny through small conditions. Only by acting before destiny is discovered can you break free from the trajectory arranged by destiny. And if you act after destiny is formed, it is purely asking for trouble. Simply, at this time, Huangshan was born in the Mahayana extreme realm, that is, he was born to ascend. It is not so easy for Aoshan's destiny trajectory to defeat Huangshan. Countless destiny trajectories converged, like a surging river, and crushed Huangshan forward. The final result was that Huangshan would collapse and die before he was born. In the prehistoric times, the blood of the dragon race is the fundamental condition for the birth of the shape, and Aoshan, as the source of the dragon blood, is the one who has the most say in the dragon blood. However, with the control of the Mahayana extreme realm, the mere blood composition cannot prevent their transformation. For Huangshan, isn't it just the collapse of the blood? Then I will obey this fate. What a big deal. The power of fate is undoubtedly powerful. If Huangshan did not have the powerful Yuanshan of the Mahayana extreme realm, and thus got rid of the influence of the fate created by Aoshan, Huangshan would have died without a burial place at this time. However, everything is just if it is something that did not happen. The core will of Huangshan was born in accordance with Li Hao's will. To a certain extent, Huangshan was born in accordance with the will of heaven at this time, and he was an invincible existence. The power of fate took effect under the impetus of time, and countless external factors and internal factors combined. Thus, an irreversible result was formed. Huangshan gathered the blood of the dragon race and the blood of the sky race to form a powerful body. Almost in an instant, it completely collapsed and turned into a dead egg. The powerful aura that was enough to shake the world disappeared without a trace in an instant. Aoshan looked at the demise of the remnants of the golden peng with satisfaction. Aoshan had high hopes for the existence of the Imperial Book of Shocking the World, and the Imperial Book of Shocking the World did not disappoint Aoshan, and solved Aoshan's troubles cleanly. As for the death of the Earth Dragon God King, Aoshan didn't take it to heart at all. The reason why Aoshan was so angry about this incident was because the remnants of the Golden Peng were slapping him in the face. No mistakes, one post, one content, 1619, one book, one bar. It had just canonized the throne of the Earth Dragon God King, and it killed the Earth Dragon God King in the blink of an eye. If it doesn't retaliate, how can the dragon gods be convinced in the future? Oppression with strength is not a long-term way, and the combination of kindness and force is the kingly way. Besides, the dragon gods are all their own people. How much time do they have to be ruthless to their own people? Anyway, the blood inheritance method of the dragon race is more powerful for the more powerful the dragon race is. Don't think that the Earth Dragon God King is dead at this time. It won't be long before the Earth Dragon God King returns again. The blood of the dragon race is integrated with power. The power is indestructible and the dragon race is immortal. As for the Earth Dragon God King, it can be said that all the creatures on the land are the capital for its resurrection. Once there is a dragon god who taps the power of blood, it will evolve all the way to the direction of the dragon ape god. When this dragon god cultivates to the Earth Dragon God King, the will of the dragon ape god will appear directly in the consciousness of this dragon god. Thus, a life and death contest will be launched with it, and the opponent will be defeated by the degree of understanding of blood. Generally speaking, the winner is the one who develops blood. Because if the dragon god who taps the power of blood to advance has the ability to develop a new bloodline direction, it will not trigger a war for consciousness. In the dragon race, there is no need for repeated existence. Compared with the original developer of blood, a guy who is copied exactly has no value at all. This principle applies to all creatures with dragon blood, that is, it applies to the entire Han Huang star. After easily killing the remnants of the Golden Peng, Aoshan's consciousness was about to return to heaven, and suddenly, an inexplicable turbulence fluctuated between heaven and earth. Aoshan was very familiar with this fluctuation, because this was what the Dragon Clan had been doing in the Han Huang, that is, to condense power. Aoshan's consciousness, which was about to return to heaven, hurriedly looked towards the remnants of the Golden Peng, and suddenly a red light appeared at the bottom of the undead volcano. Only an unyielding soul can overcome all hardships. Soul power, condense. Thanks to He King Hui for the 100 starting coins reward. Chapter 88 Power condenses and Phoenix appears. As Huang Shan condensed the power of the soul, the powerful control power derived from the power of the soul directly began to modify the blood from the bottom of the blood. The blood genes that Aoshan had collapsed through the means of fate were forcibly kneaded together. And with the help of Li Hao's willpower, these collapsed bloods were suppressed and allowed to continue to function. Boom. The blood red flames burned around the golden rock egg, and the golden rock egg covered with mysterious patterns was like glass, shattering inch by inch. Clang. The sound of the cry like a huge bell and a big LV was turbulent between heaven and earth, and the first cry of Huang Shan's birth sounded. The huge power derived from the power of the soul surged from the depths of the souls of all living beings like the pressure from the crushing of the stars. Huang Shan, who broke out of the eggshell, was now filled with boundless scarlet color in his eyes, and pupils like blood appeared in Huang Shan's eye sockets. Li Hao hid under the earth veins, and observed the state of Huang Shan at this time through the god's perspective, composed of god particles. The fear of death caused by the collapse of genes has filled Huang Shan with violent tendencies. It seems that Huang Shan will not stop until a river of blood flows when he is born this time. Huang Shan was born with the negative emotions and thoughts of the entire prehistoric world. He was a natural killer. If it weren't for Li Hao's will to forcibly suppress Huang Shan's crazy thinking and keep him rational, maybe Huang Shan would have completely perished under Aoshan's fate attack. Chaos is a disadvantage in the face of fate. Huang Shan used his powerful soul to control the blood structure in his body so that it would not collapse and perish. At this time, Huang Shan was in a state of neither life nor death. According to the judgment of fate, Huang Shan was in a state of death. But Huang Shan's soul forcibly postponed this death, waiting for Huang Shan to be resurrected again. However, with the blood genes that Huang Shan now possesses, he cannot get rid of Ao Shan's killing for the time being. If he wants to continue to survive, Huang Shan needs new conditions to distort fate, let Jinpeng die, and Feng Huang live. In this way, he achieved the goal of nirvana rebirth, and jumped out of the control of fate. Under the pressure of death approaching step by step, Huang Shan's willfully promoted the power of soul power. The powerful soul control power was like a sky-holding god, gathering the rocks near Huang Shan towards the sky. Under Ao Shan's angry eyes, volcanic rocks that occupied 1/10,000th of the prehistoric continent, and were thousands of kilometers long rose towards the sky. The huge shadow continued to expand as the rock bowl rose higher. In order to prevent the rock bowl driven by Huang Shan from reaching the sky, Ao Shan immediately mobilized the terrifying power field to form a dark cloud layer full of thunder in the sky. The hideous blood-red thunder dragon shuttled through the dark clouds, waiting for the arrival of the rock bowl. As the rock bowl driven by Huang Shan just touched a certain distance in the sky, countless hideous and terrifying thunder and lightning bombarded the surface of the rock bowl like a dense lightning net. Horrible holes appeared on the surface of the rock bowl, just like the moon of the earth. Soon, the rock bowl driven by Huang Shan was covered with dense holes. However, such an attack could not hurt Huang Shan, who was inside the rock bowl. Ao Shan wanted to use a fate attack again to kill Huang Shan completely, but Ao Shan could not find the existence of Huang Shan from the trajectory of fate. Now Huang Shan is in a state of neither life nor death, and there is no trace of Huang Shan's existence in the trajectory of fate. The activation of fate requires a fixed blood structure to lock it. But now Huang Shan's blood structure is collapsed, but it is forcibly kneaded together by Huang Shan's powerful soul. This is a special case. After all, who would have thought that a mortal creature can rely on his unyielding soul and immortal will to forcibly support his existence? Death is powerful, and only a strong soul and immortal will can fight against death. The soul is the energy supply for firm will, and the will is the goal to guide the soul to play a role. A doomsday-like scene was playing out in the prehistoric world. After several world-destroying crises, the prehistoric world, which had suffered many disasters, finally welcomed the arrival of the end of the world again. The boiling red magma flowed on the surface of the rock bowl, like ferocious pythons. No mistakes. One post, one content, 1619, one book, one bar. Huang Shan's broken body and immortal will lifted the rock ball up in the rock bowl. As the immortal volcano soared into the sky, the boundless negative emotions and thoughts suppressed by the immortal volcano instantly spread to the entire prehistoric world like a ground fountain. The dragon descendants existing on the prehistoric continent were the first to be hit by the mental impact. The crazy and chaotic will dragged the prehistoric continent into the chaotic mud pond again, setting off boundless killing and destruction. As the huge rock ball of thousands of kilometers reached the highest point in the sky, a voice like a hymn emanated from Huang Shan's soul and invaded the position of the dragon descendants in the sky. Huang Shan needs a new blood structure to supply himself with a new divine body, so as to jump out of the control of fate and complete nirvana rebirth. In addition, Huang Shan cannot fight against the entire dragon clan, so the Sky Dragonborn is the goal of Huang Shan to develop descendants. With the soul as the foundation, distort the soul will of the Sky Dragonborn, and turn the entire Sky Dragonborn into Huang Shan's thinking family, just like what Li Hao did to Huang Shan. The powerful soul instantly scanned all the blood structures of the Dragonborn flying in the sky, and the terrifying soul pressure crushed the inherent thinking of the Sky Dragonborn. In the two-pronged operation, the blood structure of the Sky Dragonborn collapsed instantly, and the original thinking mode was torn apart by Huang Shan. At this time, the Sky Dragonborn can be said to be completely scrapped by Huang Shan. A large amount of blood structures are reflected in Huang Shan's soul. Huang Shan, who was born according to the will of heaven, uses the great power of heaven's will to deduce a new blood path. This blood path does not belong to any blood path of the Dragon Clan, and is independent of the entire Dragon Clan. The blood structure deduced by Huang Shan with the help of God's will was reconstructed into Huang Shan's new body, allowing Huang Shan to complete nirvana rebirth. Clang! The mighty cry of a huge bell sounded again between heaven and earth, and then the great event that would make the entire Dragon Clan and the Phoenix fight to the death in the future officially took place. With the core of Huangshan's body cast, Huangshan naturally did not need the protection of the rock ball, so after retaining hundreds of kilometers of rock material for his ascension, all the remaining rock materials, like space meteorites descending from the universe, carried the destructive power of the heaven and earth calamity fire, and rushed into the prehistoric world. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89, The Fire of Calamity descends, and the demons appear. Like a meteor shower falling from space, the rock material that broke off from the rock bowl carried the fire of catastrophe, and rushed straight towards the prehistoric continent. The attack range covered most of the land and a small part of the ocean. Countless rock materials hit the surface of the earth, turning the flat land into broken plates covered with cracks like spider webs. The huge impact force pressed the huge energy accumulated in the earth veins. Like a fountain erupting, a large number of volcanoes scattered across the land soared into the sky, dragging the land into endless darkness again. Under the impact of the rock material, countless lives were exterminated by this man-made natural disaster. The continental plates split into a large number of small islands, floating towards the endless ocean. The attack by the rock material descending on the ocean set off an endless flood that spread towards the land. Under the outbreak of the double disaster of the ocean and land, Aoshan, who was far away in the heaven, roared angrily, "Damn bastard, I will make you pay. All dragon gods listen to my order and retreat all the potential descendants of the dragon clan to the ocean. Only the darkness of the ocean can ensure that the dragon clan will never perish. We are going to have a tug-of-war, and the battlefield will be the entire sky and the continent. This battle will not end until death." Aoshan's words are the will of the dragon clan. All the dragon gods immediately replied to Aoshan, "Your servants obey your orders." As Aoshan's will runs, the entire dragon clan is like a gear machine. The transfer of dragon descendants and preparations for war are carried out with a seamless attitude. The land dragon gods and sky dragon gods who survived Huangshan's attack and soul control, under the leadership of Aoshan, they directly attacked the rocky planet stationed in the sky. At this time, Huangshan's ascension has not reached the lowest point of the cosmic orbit, so it is temporarily unable to use the attraction of the cosmic orbit. In this way, he can complete the complete ascension and obtain the same status as Aoshan. Under the attack of the dragon clan, Huangshan not only had to control the rocky planet to continue to ascend to space. Similarly, Huangshan also had to deal with the personal attack from Aoshan. Fortunately, Aoshan could not really descend on the prehistoric world, otherwise Huangshan would really have no chance of winning. The innate divine body formed by the power field formed a blue sky field in the prehistoric sky. In this blue field, Aoshan's blue dragon divine body was looming. Huangshan was not to be outdone. Unlike Aoshan's arbitrary control of natural power, Huangshan wanted to mobilize the natural power between heaven and earth, and the price he had to pay was a great loss of soul. In addition, at this time, Huangshan was in the process of ascending, and the huge squeezing force from heaven and earth also acted on the rocky planet like a shadow. Combined with the two, Huangshan was doomed to fail in Aoshan's view. However, all the directions of the prehistoric world were determined by heaven's will, and even fate could not defy heaven's will. Huangshan was created by Li Hao to compete with the dragon clan's Kangshan. How could Li Hao sit back and watch Huangshan's defeat? At this time, as Aoshan's Kangshan domain unfolded, Huangshan's Chitian domain also unfolded. The collision of the two heavenly domains was like Mars hitting the earth, and a fierce battle broke out in the sky. The collision of rules generated by the edge of the domain directly divided the connected sky into a strange celestial phenomenon where Kangshan and Chitian coexisted. In the Kangshan domain, the blue sky enveloped everything. A large number of dragon warriors led by the sky dragon god followed the will of Kangshan and launched an attack on the Chitian domain. At this time, the power of Kangshan permeated around the dragon god. These dragon gods will serve as males for Kangshan to drive into the Chitian domain and assist Aoshan in achieving the final victory. In the Chitian domain, the Phoenix clan gods transformed by the dragon god, who was distorted by the powerful soul will of Huangshan, were paying their final loyalty to Huangshan. Countless Phoenix clan gods transformed from dragons to phoenixes worshipped Huangshan. Contribute your blood code to Huangshan's soul, and let Huangshan's soul will help it convert the blood code, and create a blood program different from the Dragon Clan. With the blood gene of the Dragon Clan as a guarantee, the Phoenix Clan gods can exist in the prehistoric world, and change the blood code of the Dragon Clan, and convert it into the unique blood code of the Phoenix Clan, so as to jump out of Aoshan's fate network. So that Aoshan can no longer manipulate the fate of the Phoenix Clan gods like a puppet. Not long after the Phoenix Clan's monarch and minister's loyalty ceremony was completed, the attack from the Dragon Clan had already reached the interior of Chitian. No mistakes, one song, one post, one content, one six, one book, one bar, one look. The simple ceremony did not delay the loyalty of the Phoenix Clan gods. All the Phoenix Clan gods immediately launched a counterattack against the Dragon God. At this time, as Phoenix Clan gods, they have long regarded themselves as real Phoenix Clan gods, not Dragon Clan gods. Huangshan's powerful soul will is enough to reverse the thinking mode of a normal god, making it change its inherent thinking direction, and thus become a Phoenix god who is loyal to him. This distortion will not interfere with their normal intelligence, but will only change the object of their loyalty. The Dragon Clan uses blood as its foundation to create the immortal glory of the race. The Phoenix Clan uses the soul as its foundation to create an immortal glorious era. While the two clans are tit for tat for the future of their respective races, Li Hao and the Earth Veins is preparing for Huangshan to pass this test smoothly. At this time, on the prehistoric continent, because of the boundless killing caused by Huangshan, a huge amount of negative emotional thinking has long been gathered, and these negative emotional thinking is the best material for the birth of the Demon Clan. As an existence born with negative emotional thinking, the Demon Clan is naturally not restricted by any order. Even if Li Hao, as the master of the Demon Clan, can only suppress the Demon Clan with his powerful strength, and it is impossible to make the Demon Clan loyal and work for a certain creature wholeheartedly. Even the demons themselves cannot form an army, and at most they can only complete a chaotic reorganization. One demon is a dragon, and a group of demons are insects, which is undoubtedly the best portrayal of the demons. And now, as the master of the demons, Li Hao wants to make the entire prehistoric world full of the presence of demons. As an alternative race, the demons do not reproduce by material. The birth of each demon represents the demise of a creature with the same strength. The demons are the condensation of negative emotions and thoughts. They are born from the chaotic hearts of creatures, and they live with the chaotic behavior of creatures. When the demons prosper, it is the time of chaos in the world. Chapter 90, Demons and Monsters. The fire of destruction continued to descend from the sky, bringing extreme destruction and damage, turning all living things into ashes under the fire. On the prehistoric continent, a large number of dragon gods used their power to transfer the potential dragon descendants of the Dragon Clan to the ocean in various ways, to avoid the next Dragon and Phoenix War. In the process of the Dragon Clan's transfer, those dragon descendants who were confused, or a large number of dragon descendants were ruthlessly abandoned by the dragon gods, so they could only face the next death in despair. Among these abandoned dragon descendants, the number of golden dragon apes was the largest. As the winner of the prehistoric war, the golden dragon ape should have enjoyed the treatment of the winner, and ruled the entire prehistoric continent. With the abundant resources of the prehistoric continent as a supply, it became the first large clan of the Dragon Clan. However, a series of sudden accidents not only did not allow the golden dragon ape to enjoy the treatment of the winner, but on the contrary, because of the large number of golden dragon apes, it became the first dragon descendant abandoned by the Dragon Clan. Under the threat of war, the retreat criteria of the dragon gods are mainly based on speed, and things are precious, because they are rare. Once the number of a thing increases, it means that the value of its existence is constantly decreasing. In the end, many golden dragon apes could only watch their former defeated generals and some geniuses of their own clan being taken away, leaving themselves alone in the prehistoric continent waiting for death. Boundless hatred and fear filled the hearts of all creatures in the prehistoric continent. They all belonged to the dragon race, and this inexplicable difference in treatment made the reason of all creatures on the edge of madness. At this time, the chaotic power from Liheo was like a fuse that ignited a gunpowder barrel, igniting the chaotic will of all creatures, and letting all the shackles of order be torn apart by boundless chaos. Fuck the overall situation, live together, die together. Guided by the souls of the creatures and, based on the chaotic will, break down all order and let chaos descend on the earth. A strange and inexplicable sound rang out in the hearts of all living beings, causing chaos among them, allowing the evil thoughts in the hearts of living beings to devour their reason, and causing everything to fall into the most insane chaos. Countless dark magic mists emerged from the hearts of living beings, devouring all reason, absorbing the flesh and blood of living beings, and thus using living beings as resources to derive formless demons. The magic mists derived from living beings gathered together to form a terrifying dark cloud that covered the sky and the sun. Strange magic sounds echoed between heaven and earth, causing the remaining living beings who had not fallen into madness to dance with the will of chaos. Liheo's will descended into the magic mist, and with the terrifying chaotic will, it attracted the evil thoughts of all living beings to fly into the sky, turning into the great black demon heaven, thus joining the battlefield where Kangshan and Chitian competed for hegemony. Although Liheo's clone had not reached the Mahayana realm at this time, this battle was not centered on Liheo. Liheo only provided a combat platform for the resentment of all living beings. The moment the spirits of the prehistoric land flew into the sky, the magic fog formed by the demonic thoughts aroused by Liheo's chaotic power rushed straight to the realm of the sky. As the demons that took shape from the chaotic thoughts of all living beings, they possessed all the memories of the host. Strictly speaking, the so-called demons were the chaotic wills of living beings, and they were one and the same. In other words, the demons would complete all their obsessions before they became demons. The boundless magic fog poured into the realm of the sky, attracting a large number of dragon gods into the devil. Chaotic fireworks rose from the souls of the dragon gods, and the dark magic fog quickly led the dragon gods' thoughts into the ranks of the demons. As mentioned before, with the chaotic thinking of the demons, it was impossible to form an army, so although a large number of demons were driven by the power of hatred and retaliated against the dragons, however, there were also some alternative demons that rushed into the realm of the red sky and clashed with the gods of the Phoenix clan. There were also more demons wandering in the prehistoric world, starting a new life journey of their own. In the sky, the 3-day battle formed by the gathering of Kangshan, Chitian, and Dahoemotion is in full swing. As the demon clan that Liheo restrained Aoshan and helped Huangshan ascend, they have great restraint on the dragon gods. The dragon clan respects bloodline and does not value the practice of soul will. The soul will of the dragon clan is usually passively improved when the bloodline is promoted. This practice of focusing on bloodline and ignoring soul will has become a fatal weakness when facing the impact of the demon clan. A large number of dragon gods have entered the devil, thus weakening the tug-of-war of Kangshan and allowing Huangshan's ascension to proceed smoothly. While Kangshan and Dahoemotion were restraining each other, Chitian's domain had already killed all the demons who entered their domain. As Huangshan and the gods of the Phoenix clan who specialize in soul cultivation, these newly born demons are not a concern at all. The souls of the gods of the Phoenix clan are one level higher than the other, while ensuring the independence of their soul will. No mistakes in one song, one post, one content, 1619, one book, one bar, one look. The Phoenix clan spirits can use the powerful souls of the previous level to suppress the evil thoughts in their souls and keep themselves in order. Boom, boom, boom. Endless thunder roars sounded between heaven and earth. The chaos caused by the dragon god's demonic possession made the Kangshan realm completely lose control of the Chitian realm, so that Aoshan could only watch Huangshan driving Kaishan to ascend to space. The boundless pressure came from the prehistoric world. The last blow before Huangshan ascended directly smashed Aoshan's Kangshan realm into pieces, and through the blood connection between the Sky Dragon God and the Sky Dragon God King Aoling, he killed the Sky Dragon God King, thus shattering the dragon clan's control over the sky. When Liheo saw that Huangshan's ascension was unstoppable, Liheo directly left this chaotic sky battlefield and returned to the earth veins. For a time, the whole sky returned to peace again, leaving only the ashes in the sky, proving the traces of the cruel battlefield. The war inside the prehistoric world was temporarily ended by Lee Hao's disruption, but the war in space was about to begin. In the prehistoric world, because of the huge pressure from the prehistoric star, neither Aoshan nor Huangshan could exert their full strength. In space, without the restrictions of the prehistoric star, the Kangshan star, where Aoshan was, and the Kaishan star, where Huangshan was, were constantly fighting in the universe under the cycle of the cosmic orbit. After the heavenly war inside the prehistoric world ended, in the underground world, Lee Hao's will once again descended on the demon heavens, observing the demon gods that were about to break the world. Thanks to He for the 100 starting coins reward. Chapter 91 The world-shattered demon god appears. In the past, Lee Hao created the demonic heavens, intending to use the power of the demonic heavens to derive the demonic gods as the gods of the demon clan. In this way, these demons would help him disrupt the prehistoric world, allowing him to get away from the trivialities of promoting the progress of the prehistoric world. Now, after being watered by the killing spirit in the chaos of the prehistoric world, the three worlds in the demonic heavens have shown signs of success. Lee Hao's grand will descended into the demonic heavens, and the boundless divine power set off waves of ripples. With the world strength of the small world, once Lee Hao's will really descended, the entire small world would be reduced to ruins in an instant, making all of Lee Hao's preparations fall short. So in order to ensure that his achievements would not be destroyed, Lee Hao could only seal his powerful Yuanshan layer by layer, leaving only the demonic eyes of the heavens, which represented Lee Hao's will, to observe the situation inside the world. At this moment, as Lee Hao's eyes converged on the three demonic worlds that he wanted to transcend, the luck of the entire demonic world also converged towards the three worlds. As the treasure created by Lee Hao for the demon clan, the demonic world is the key to whether the demon clan can gain a foothold in the prehistoric world in the future. In addition, if the transcendence method of the small world is successful, it will also mean that the prehistoric world will enter an era where gods are worse than dogs and ancient gods are everywhere. With the addition of the two, Lee Hao cannot help but pay attention. The small world is built by gathering material particles with historical information. The difference between the demonic world and other types of small worlds is that the demon is a chaotic world constructed purely by negative emotional thinking. The other types of small worlds are orderly worlds constructed by positive emotional thinking. The difference is the world tendency of the two, and the same is that neither has the potential for evolution. The final outcome of the small world has been determined before the construction is completed. Either transcend the world to achieve gods, or continue to reincarnate and accumulate gods who can transcend the world. It can be said that the mission of the small world is to breed the birth of gods. This kind of gods bred by the world is different from the gods evolved from creatures. They are innate gods who are born with power, and unlike creatures, they need to consume a lot of resources before they can be promoted to gods. Innate gods only need one resource to be promoted to gods 100%. It's just that this promotion method is a bit cruel. Compare the world to human thinking, and compare every living creature in the world to every thought of a person. The way to promote gods is to kill all the thoughts that oppose you, and let your will pass through the whole world. Let the world be the nourishment for your promotion, and then step into the realm of gods. The promotion process is varied, but the result of promotion is unique. Lee Hao is not very clear about other types of gods' promotion methods. After all, Lee Hao has not verified the accuracy of the small world breeding gods at this time. Everything is just an experiment. Once Lee Hao determines the possibility of the small world breeding gods, Lee Hao will use the disguised original will to preach to all living beings. Of course, although Lee Hao can pass on the method of creating the world of the small world to all living beings, only the powerful gods can use this method. Only gods can use time as a unit to create gods of the same level. The eyes of the demons in the heavens turned slightly, and Lee Hao's eyes focused on the first demon world. In the first demon world, a non-human existence with a face that seemed to be the faces of all living beings gathered together used his powerful magic power to leisurely say in the world, all living beings are me, and all living beings are not me. I exist in the thoughts of all living beings, and I'm the master of the souls of all living beings. I'm the master of the demons, and I'm the king of all demons. Those who call my true name must get my response. and my true name is Bosun. Bosun's voice is like a man and a woman, neither male nor female, like a sacred sound, or like the whisper of an evil demon. As the announcement of the demon Bosun sounded in the world, the living beings in the first demon world whispered Bosun's words. Like Bosun's preacher, they recited Bosun's true name with all their heart and soul, and contributed everything they had to Bosun. Under the prayers of all beings in this world, the wills of all beings in the small world were all taken into the hands of Bosun. This practice is equivalent to erasing the entire world in disguise, turning everything in the world into his own property, whether it is the grass and trees inside the world, or the thoughts or bodies of all beings. Taking the entire world as a resource, Bosun, the lord of the heavenly demon, successfully promoted to the demon god. With the world as the body of the god, the self-will as the master, and the souls of all beings as the primordial spirit, he achieved the innate demon god. No mistakes in one poem, one post, one content, 1619, one book, one bar, one look. Jumping out of the limitations of the world in one fell swoop, he arrived in front of the demon eye of the heavens, and was under the gaze of Lihao. In the dark chaos and darkness, the heavenly demon Bosun was like a tiny ant, looking at the scarlet blood eye above, and bursts of unwillingness could not help but burst out in his heart. Why is there such a powerful existence? I have gone through countless reincarnations and countless tribulations before I finally transcended the world and existed. But why am I so insignificant in front of him? At this time, the demon Bosun only felt endless malice coming towards him. This malice was like the deepest darkness, devouring his body and mind bit by bit. Lihao didn't know what the demon Bosun thought, and he didn't want to know. Anyway, the demon Bosun's transcendence has proved the feasibility of the innate god breeding method, and all this is enough. As for the blow he caused to the demon Bosun's mind, please, Lihao is not Bosun's parent, and he has to enlighten Bosun's psychological problems. In the world view of the demon way, where strength is justice and weakness is original sin, it's good that Lihao didn't slap it to death. After observing the demon's transcendence, and recording the way the demon used to destroy the will of all living beings and forge the primordial spirit with the souls of all living beings, Lihao looked at the second demon world again. In the second demon world, it is no longer a certain creature that is transcending, but the entire earth. God knows how this unfortunate world allows the earth to give birth to its own will. Anyway, the way the earth transcends is simple, direct and crude. That is to set off endless disasters, so that all living beings are in danger all the time, thereby creating despair again and again, and erasing the will of all living beings. When all living beings give up struggling because of despair, the earth will directly crush all living beings to death, thus turning them into the food for its own transcendence. In this way, the demons of the earth were bred from the inside of the world. Thanks to Qin Huang, Han Wu and Tang Zhan for the 100 starting coins reward. Chapter 92. The world shattered, the devil appears. In the dark chaos, a thick void continent emerged in the darkness, and the boundless disaster breath spread to the void. Such a strong aura of disaster. Such a strange illusory power. When DKUI just transcended, and met Shai and Mo Barkson, both of them had their own judgments about each other in their hearts. Cheyenne Mo transcended with the power of the turmoil in the hearts of living beings, and was most proficient in controlling the hearts of living beings. Therefore, Cheyenne Mo Barkson was filled with a strong strange power, as if he would disappear from the world at any time. DKUI, the Earth Demon, transcended with the despair given to living beings by boundless disasters, and was most proficient in controlling various disasters. Therefore, on the void continent of the Earth Demon, there was a thick aura of disaster, and when touched, there was a power of disaster. When the two demons of heaven and earth were alert to each other, the demon god of the third demon world also began the road of transcendence. Unlike the heavenly demon, which was derived from the hearts of all living beings, it is also different from the earthly demon, which evolved from endless disasters. The human demon Luohao, on the other hand, was derived from living beings themselves. The way to transcend the heavenly demon is to give all living beings false hope, so that all living beings will rush towards the darkness without regrets, and finally merge with the heavenly demon Parkson. The way to transcend the earthly demon is to give all living beings oppressive despair, so that all living beings will extinguish the fire of resistance in endless despair, and finally be swallowed by the earthly demon Dicky. The heavenly demon is not a living being, and the earthly demon is not a living being. The way to transcend the two is ultimately just the way of the jungle, and there is not much difference in Leheo's eyes. Although the two transcend in different ways, the essence of transcendence is the same. They are all based on the way of transcendence, based on the jungle of the current Hanhleong star. They impose pain on all living beings to obtain the opportunity to transcend. But Luohao is different. It carries all the pain on its own body. It puts the butcher's knife on all living beings, integrates the pain into its own body, kills a world with boundless perseverance, carries everything in a world, and thus transcends the world. In the third demon world, Luohao, who was like a shadow creature, flew into the sky with K2 star. A strange, evil, and corrupt darkness suddenly descended upon the entire world. The blood-stained demon pupils were like two blood-red moons hanging in the sky. The scarlet blood light immediately became the only light in the darkness, illuminating the world shrouded in endless darkness. An evil voice like a night owl roared out from Luohao's mouth. Decadent and ignorant beings. For thousands of years, you have been sinking in endless killing and destruction from generation to generation. You hate this endless killing and destruction, but you can't break free from this fateful reincarnation. And now, I will replace you, transcend this world, and pursue the other side of light. Before that, everything you have will be taken over by me. I will bear your pain, your soul, and everything you have. As he spoke, Luohao suddenly raised his hands to the sky, as if he wanted to hug something, and roared, "We will be reborn in the new world." Boom. Endless blood-red thunder appeared in the sky, like a dawn, that broke through the darkness, trying to tear through the barrier of darkness, and save all living beings from the darkness. However, this dawn that broke through the darkness was made of blood. Kill. With Luohao's roar, the K2 star that rose into the sky, pulled the entire sky, and crashed into the earth. Countless cracks, like cracks in glass, spread throughout the sky. As the destruction of the heaven and earth came, everything in the world was turned into nothingness by the endless destruction. After the destruction came the despair, fear, roar, and pain of all living beings before death. Like rivers returning to the sea, they all poured into Luohao's soul. At this moment, the suffering of Luohao is the suffering of all living beings. The pain of Luohao is the pain of all living beings. With his own strength, he carried everything of all living beings without any cover. This terrible willpower made the two demons of heaven and earth who watched Luohao transcend, couldn't help but gasp. This kind of horror that comes from the superposition of all living beings before death is not as simple as 1 + 1. Although the world in the magic world is a small world, this does not mean that there is any difference between the creatures in the small world and the creatures in the prehistoric star. Strictly speaking, the creatures in the small worlds have no difference from the creatures in the prehistoric stars, except that there is no positive or negative emotional thinking confrontation, and the upward evolutionary force generated. There is no difference between the creatures in the small worlds and the creatures in the prehistoric stars. No mistakes. To bear all the pain of the whole world with one's own strength, this terrifying will made the two demons of heaven and earth tremble. The demon Piozun witnessed Luohao's transcendence with his own eyes. After being shocked, he couldn't help but smile and said, "It seems that I was arrogant before, thinking that transcending the world is the ultimate of everything. Now it seems that transcending the world is just a beginning. And I should feel fortunate that I didn't disappear among all living beings because of my arrogance, and thus coexist with humble ants." With the perception of the demon, in an instant, the will of the demon rose rapidly upward like a rocket. In the demon's soul, the cold demon eyes formed by the demon's will hung in the sky of the soul. In the cold blood-red devil's eyes, a crazy devil's will, like the deepest darkness, devoured everything in the world. Looking at the souls of all living beings in his soul, the demon Piozun laughed evilly and said, "Since you can bear the suffering of all living beings, and use the suffering of all living beings to hone your will, then how can I let myself fall?" As the demon laughed, the memories of the destroyed living beings rushed into the demon's soul like a flood. The torrent of memories washed away the demon Piozun's self, wanting to drown everything of Piozun and turn it into dust among all living beings. Compared with the madness of the demon Piozun, the demon DKUI was much more rational, although Luo Hao's transcendence also had a significant impact on him. But this did not make the demon DKUI change his own way of disaster and despair. The demon transcended with the power of illusion, compiled countless falsehoods, and lured all living beings to devote themselves to it wholeheartedly, thereby destroying their independent will. The demon transcended with the power of disaster, derived despair from disaster, and wiped out all resistance with despair, thus transcending the world. The human demon carries transcendence, carrying the hope of all living beings to break free from the torrent of the world, and thus reach the other side of transcendence. The three paths to transcendence are different, but the ultimate goal is only one. That is to erase the independent will of all living beings, and replace the will of all living beings with one's own will. Li Hao's demon eyes of the heavens and the earth calmly looked at the three demons of the world of transcendence, and drew everything he needed from their paths of transcendence. The demon takes chaos as its foundation, and shapes its own independent will in endless suffering. This kind of independence is undoubtedly unforgivable on the side of the gods who take order as their foundation. So Li Hao needs to make some modifications before he can spread the law of creation throughout the prehistoric world. Thanks to a young mink for the 1000 starting coins reward. Chapter 93, Thought Evolution Realm. With the destruction of the three demon worlds in the demonic world, the three innate demon gods of the demon clan, the three demon gods of heaven, earth and man, were born. Li Hao could temporarily give up personally intervening in the affairs of the prehistoric planet, and live in seclusion behind the scenes, focusing on modifying the composition of the 1000 worlds. After absorbing the transcendental ideas and various methods of the three innate demon gods, the demon eyes of the heavens transformed by Li Hao's will disappeared directly in the demonic world. From beginning to end, Li Hao did not have too much communication with the three innate demon gods. The demon clan was born in chaos. There is no human relationship in the demon clan. Strength is truth. Weakness is original sin. This is a belief deeply engraved in the bones. Even though Li Hao classified all the creatures based on chaos into the ranks of the demon clan at this time. But from the perspective of these creatures themselves, except for themselves, all other creatures are aliens. After Li Hao left, in the dark chaotic void, the three innate demon gods looked at each other, and after evaluating their respective strengths, they quickly disappeared into the chaotic void. Inside the Hangliang star, there is a mysterious place between existence and non-existence. Li Hao's figure emerged here, and the ripples of divine power spread far, far away. Since a large number of intelligent creatures were born inside the Hangliang star due to Li Hao's strong interference, the previous tranquility of the Hangliang star has gone forever. Especially after the endless turmoil caused by the battle between the Dragon Clan and the former Sky Clan. The aura belonging to Li Hao has undergone an inexplicable change, and the history of the entire Hangliang star has rushed all the way to an unknown road. The thinking information of the creatures after the death of the battle is combined with the aura, which changes the aura, that should have no attributes, and allows the emotional thinking, that should have dissipated to survive. Under this series of changes, the formation of the two major realms of the world behind the Hangliang has been promoted. The Chaos Void, which is dominated by chaos, and the Order Void, which is dominated by order. The two realms exist on the other side of the primordial star like a strange yin-yang fish. With the material level as an obstacle, each absorbs the positive emotions and thoughts born from the primordial star, or the negative emotions and thoughts, and has an attitude of never interacting with each other. It is impossible to directly reach the Chaos Void from the Order Void, and similarly, it is impossible to directly reach the Order Void from the Chaos Void. If you want to reach another realm from one realm, you can only use the material world as a stepping stone to enter the other realm. As for the formation of these two realms, Li Hao accidentally discovered it when he brought his will to the demonic heavens. At this time, Li Hao was in the inexplicable place between the Chaos Void and the Order Void. This place cannot be reached in a normal way if Li Hao did not have the god particles with a higher energy level than the spiritual energy in his hand. Li Hao could not come to the inexplicable place between the two realms. At this moment, Li Hao stood in the middle of the chaotic void and the ordered void. The power from chaos and the power from order were like two planets, pulling Li Hao to their respective realms. Li Hao, who was between the two realms, only felt that his left half was in disordered chaos, while his right half was in the balance of order. The existence of the two differences almost made Lee Heo split into two halves. Fortunately, Lee Heo realized the existence of this situation in time, and then raised his Yuanshan to the level of Godhead armor. Yuanshan is an armed force formed by wrapping the soul with spiritual energy. This is a kind of energy body that can quickly receive external information while ensuring that the soul is not attacked by the outside world. Godhead is a higher level of the soul. The existence of the Godhead is to transform the spiritual energy in the soul into more efficient God particles, so as to ensure that the existence of the body will not limit the performance of the soul. After raising his Yuanshan to the level of Godhead, Lee Heo almost clearly felt that the power from two different realms was like a toy in his hand. He could crush it at any time and turn it into endless dust. In Lee Heo's view, the emergence of this situation is a significant improvement in information processing ability. The efficient body increases the speed of the soul processing information, allowing Lee Heo to easily control the power of chaos and order. After raising his existence to a higher level, Lee Heo's information processing ability at this time is a civilization level. Compared with the total amount of thinking information in the chaotic void and the ordered void at this time, the information processing ability that Lee Heo possesses at this time is undoubtedly more than enough. The left eye observes chaos, the right eye observes the void, the left hand holds chaos, and the right hand holds order. Lee Heo constructs and organizes the 1,000 worlds in the chaotic void and the ordered void in a synchronous manner. In the chaotic void, the negative emotional thinking absorbed from the prehistoric star in the chaotic void is the basis. No mistakes in one poem, one post, one content, one 6, one 9, one book, one bar, one look. Assisted by the material existence between the two realms, it is constructed into a small world under the magic world. For this step, Lee Heo is very experienced. After all, Lee Heo has created a large number of demonic worlds more than once. In fact, the way to create a demonic world is very simple. That is, just grab a handful of negative emotions and thoughts and stuff them directly into a templated world, and that's it. If the demon god does this, it can be said to be as fast as assembly line production. However, this is an impossible thing. One monk carries water to drink, 2 monks carry water to drink, and 3 monks have no water to drink. For the demon god, anything that has the sign of eroding the independent will of self, then the demon god will not do it. Only the independence of self is the most important for the demon god, and everything else can be abandoned. If killing all living beings can guarantee self-independence, then the demon god will do it without hesitation. Compared with the smooth construction of the small world of chaos and emptiness, Lee Heo encountered big trouble in the order of emptiness. Compared with being able to create a large number of demonic worlds with a casual grab, the small world in the order of emptiness is difficult to create. In Lee Heo's operating system, the existence of historical information is comparable to the existence value of the entire prehistoric star. All of Lee Heo's applications are based on historical information. Whether it is the development of civilization, the creation of the world, or even the advancement of living beings, they all require the application of historical information. Chapter 94 History-Derived Order Heaven. In Lee Heo's eyes, the so-called small world is a miniaturized world, based on the template of the prehistoric star. Almost all the small worlds are portrayed by the same template. Whether it is the small world in the chaotic void or the small world that will be nurtured in the order of the void, their material essence is the same. The fundamental reason for the distinction between the chaotic void and the order of the void is the difference between positive emotional thinking and negative emotional thinking. The small world composed of negative emotional thinking is just like the world that Lee Heo had casually fabricated before. There is no need to worry too much, just put negative emotional thinking into the template of the small world. However, the small world composed of positive emotional thinking requires painstaking efforts to build a fixed order rule inside the world, so that the historical information inside the world can continue to run. However, whether it is positive emotional thinking or negative emotional thinking, they are all derived from the historical tide formed by countless creatures. Whether it is chaos or order, they are summarized from historical information, among which the historical information required for order is the most important. Chaos only needs to blend countless historical information together, while order requires countless historical information to be passed down in an orderly manner. In the order of the void, if Lee Heo wants to create an orderly world, he must sort out the historical information he has, so as to straighten it out, and then inject it into the world, to form the existence of an orderly world. However, this involves a major issue, the subjective will of the living beings. The information recorded in history is a subjective existence, which carries a recorder's self-understanding of its existence. Even if it is a so-called rational recorder, it is inevitable that he will participate in his own subjective will in a certain period of history, thus dominating the derivative direction of history. And this subjective will is the foundation for the inheritors of this civilization to integrate into it, and it is the dominant factor that makes the inheritors of civilization feel identified. But for the inheritors of other civilizations, it is a rational partiality and a wrong thinking that does not need to exist. Just as even if foreigners claim to be experts in China, their sense of identity with the Chinese nation will never be as good as that of the inheritors of civilization who were born and raised here from beginning to end. Similarly, for Lee Heo, although he knows the history of the development of the entire Dragon Clan and Phoenix Clan, and even understands it to the level of every minute and every second. However, if Lee Heo is allowed to create the order of the heavens belonging to the Dragon Clan and the Phoenix Clan, there will be differences. This difference is caused by Lee Heo's subjective will. In the face of this difference, neither the Dragon Clan nor the Phoenix Clan's civilization inheritors will recognize the order of the heavens created by Lee Heo. As a result, the heavens of the order in the void cannot be supplemented with historical information from the Dragon Clan and the Phoenix Clan, and thus it will self-destruct. For the occurrence of this situation, even Lee Heo is powerless. Without growing up in the historical atmosphere of the Dragon Clan and the Phoenix Clan, Lee Heo would not be able to create a heavens of the heavens that would make the two clans feel a sense of identity. The consequence of writing the history of a different civilization with the thinking mode of one's own civilization is to devour all the wealth of the different civilization with the thinking mode of one's own civilization. Not to mention that the Dragon and Phoenix Clan are at the peak of rapid growth at this time. The Dragon and Phoenix Clan are completely declining. As long as the inheritors of the civilization of the Dragon and Phoenix tribes have not died, it is impossible to have any sense of identity with the history written by the inheritors of the civilization of the alien civilization. Because when the members of one's own civilization become curious about everything in the alien civilization, or even obsessed with it, that is when the devouring of the alien civilization reaches its peak. The world of the heavens and the chaotic void can continuously evolve by absorbing negative emotional thinking from the material planets. The cost of this rapid derivation is that the history of the Demon Clan is a hodgepodge. Every member of the Demon Clan is a naked civilization nihilist. What is a civilization nihilist? That is, if there is a benefit, go ahead, and if there is a disadvantage, withdraw. In the eyes of the Demon Clan, nothing is more important than their own independent consciousness, and nothing is more important than their own interests. And there is no doubt that the existence of civilization, in the eyes of the Demon Clan, is an enemy that destroys self-independence and plunders their own interests. Therefore, in the chaotic void, there is no so-called mutually beneficial organization at all. There is only the logic of robbers who act recklessly and kill and take life and death by relying on their own powerful strength. But the order of Takesu is not the case. As the representative of order, it is a general term for positive emotional thinking. Any worlds in the order void must divide themselves into their own camps to accept the existence they need. Just as the worlds of the Dragon Clan cannot accept historical information from the Phoenix Clan, the worlds of the Phoenix Clan cannot accept historical information from the Dragon Clan. No mistakes in one poem, one post, one content, 1619, one book, one bar. One's own historical information is to guarantee the attribution of the worlds of the heavens and the existence time of the worlds of the heavens. When one's own civilization declines to the extreme and can no longer produce historical information to supplement the worlds of the heavens, that is when the worlds of the heavens and the order void will perish. The derivation of the worlds of the chaotic void proceeds smoothly under the control of Lee Heo's left hand, and countless small worlds are born in the chaotic void. Thus, like a meat grinder, all the negative emotions and thoughts from the prehistoric star are crushed, and the power of chaos is bred in the small world of the magic way. As for the evolution of the Order of the Void, Lihao could only helplessly hand over the right to derive the Order of the Heavens to the two gods of the Dragon and Phoenix tribes on the primordial star, who were the only two with powerful historical information. It seems that it is time to use a revelation from the original will. Lihao looked at the orderly Takesu and muttered to himself. As Lihao's mind moved, a part of Lihao's soul will that had once turned into aura and merged into the souls of all living beings began to affect the will of the gods in the dark, just like the great will awakened from the chaos. A large amount of inexplicable information echoed in the souls of the gods like the revelation of heaven. All kinds of information belonging to the creation process of the small world were generated in the void and then deeply engraved in the souls of the gods. In space, the ancestors of the Dragon and Phoenix tribes, Aoshan and Huangshan, who were engaged in a crazy bombardment, stopped their attacks almost at the same time. In the center of Aoshan's ancestral dragon hall, and on top of Huangshan's sacred Wutan tree, Aoshan and Huangshan said in unison, "This is a revelation from the origin." Thanks to my darkness for the 100 starting coins reward. Chapter 95 History derives from order. At the same time, Aoshan and Huangshan's soul left their star bodies in space and stepped into the orderly Takesu. In the orderly Takesu, Aoshan, who had transformed into a blue dragon, wandered in the Takesu like he was roaming in the ocean. The volume of Takesu is vast and boundless. It can even be described as follows: the larger the thought, the larger the Takesu. Theoretically, as long as the emotions and thoughts in Han Huang Star have not been cut off, Takesu can have an infinite volume. At this time, Kanglang Aoshan was rampant in Takesu with the true body of the Dragon Clan. The historical information of the Dragon Clan engraved on Aoshan's dragon scales was like a torrent, spreading in Takesu. The surface of Aoshan's scales in the state of Yuanshan showed the information of the Dragon Clan recorded in Aoshan's Yuanshan, including the Dragon Clan from weak to strong, from failure to success. Even the history of the bloodline gene evolution of the Dragon Clan was presented on the surface of Aoshan's scales without a trace. These historical information belonging to the Dragon Clan, under the deliberate dissemination of Aoshan, slowly condensed in the void. A large amount of historical information combined with the substances existing in the void slowly gave birth to the small worlds belonging to the Dragon Clan. These small worlds of the Dragon Clan are like magnets in the void, attracting the historical information of the Dragon Clan existing in the void. Thus, they are invested in the small worlds of the Dragon Clan, helping Aoshan to expand the area occupied by the Dragon Clan in the void. The void is the same as the void. They absorb a large amount of emotional thinking generated by the activities of all living beings inside the prehistoric star, to expand their own volume. However, the difference between the void and the void is that the void does not have a formed civilization condensation point, so the historical information that also exists in the void can only be crushed by the strong, thus turning into nutrients for the growth of the demon gods. But the void is not the case. Although the historical information in the void is also in a scattered state when there is no successor to the civilization, once the successor to the civilization appears, these historical information belonging to each civilization will automatically converge into the world under the civilization, thus forming a fixed procedure, so as to formulate an orderly rule in Takesu. And now the dragon world nurtured by Aoshan is like this. After Aoshan opened up the original origin of the Dragon Heavens, all the historical information belonging to the Dragon Clan in Takesu spontaneously gathered towards the Dragon Heavens and strengthened the proportion of the Dragon Heavens in Takesu. Similar to Aoshan, in the Takesu realm, where the Phoenix Heavens exist, the work done by Phoenix Shan is the same. Open up the original origin of the heavens, and then use the historical information of each civilization to expand the Takesu area belonging to the world of the heavens step by step, so as to obtain sufficient supplements of the gods. It has been said before that the small world is a world without evolutionary potential. The fundamental reason for the birth of the small world is to breed innate gods, so as to accelerate the war form inside the prehistoric star. As for why the small world has no potential for evolution, this involves another problem. That is the antagonism of things. Since ancient times, yin and yang are opposite, there is black and white, and there is light and shadow. All things are mutually reinforcing and mutually restraining. Under this continuous confrontation, the derivation and development of all things are promoted. The current small world, whether it is the void or the great void, is condensed by a single emotional thinking. They lack the confrontation of the world's evolution. There is no order in the void, and there is no chaos in the great void. The chaos of the void is eternal and disordered, and you can never guess what will happen next. The order of the great void is eternal and rigid, and you can never expect new changes in the great void. There are many ways for the innate demon gods born in the void to transcend the world. Almost every example is unique, and cannot be copied. There is only one who can achieve the demon god in the same way. And this is the independence emphasized by the innate demon gods in the void, and it is also the trajectory of the void demon gods to become gods. Any creature who wants to walk along their path will eventually make wedding clothes for these innate demon gods standing on the other side of the world. In the great void, the way to transcend the world is fixed. As long as the interference from the outside world has not changed, the small world can only transcend the world in one way. Any unconventional way will be destroyed by the world, not to mention, whether creatures under historical limitations can come up with new ideas. To simplify everything, in the void, no matter how weird and incredible the way is, you can achieve the innate demon god. In the void, only by following the steps can you achieve the innate god. Whether the problems of these two can be solved, is the question of whether the middle thousand world can be born. However, in Lee Hao's view, unless chaos or order is forcibly injected into the small thousand world by powerful violent means. Otherwise, it is wishful thinking to want the small thousand world to be promoted to the middle thousand world. There is no mistake in one song, one post, one content, 1619, one book, one bar. Give the orderly world to destroy the world, and give the chaotic world to save the world. The difficulty of the existence of these two is equivalent to spreading socialism in a capitalist-ruled society. Spreading capitalism in a socialist-ruled society. To fight against the whole world with one's own strength is really looking for death, and not picking up a good place. The iron fist of socialism and the backstab of capitalism will tell you what malice from the world is. In the void, Ao Shan and Huang Shan were frantically expanding their own worlds in their respective fields, in order to seize the initiative in the next collision. Lee Hao's method of spreading the creation of the worlds of the heavens was never for world peace. For Lee Hao, only the most tragic war can force the pace of civilization to accelerate, thereby generating more benefits for himself. As for whether civilization itself will be irreversibly affected in this process, it has nothing to do with Lee Hao. Perhaps the inheritors born in civilization will have the idea of stopping the war for the healthy development of civilization. But what does this have to do with Lee Hao? For Lee Hao, he has no intimacy with any civilization existing in the prehistoric star, and naturally has no mercy. Even if all the civilizations in the entire prehistoric star have turned into the dust of history and the endless war, Lee Hao can also use the method of civilization grafting to graft the civilization history before the war destruction onto a new wild race, thereby avoiding the cause of the birth of destruction. Lee Hao believes that, as long as he is willing, there will be a lot of wild races willing to abandon their barbaric ancestors. Thus, they can welcome the historical grafting from the advanced civilization. After all, who doesn't want to have an arrogant ancestor, and who doesn't want their civilization to be invincible in the world? As for the knowledgeable people among the barbaric races, Lee Hao believes that the barbaric races who can't wait to throw themselves into the arms of the advanced civilization will be killed in the most cruel way. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96, Ancient Gods Define Various Systems. In the orderly void, Lee Hao's will turned into the eyes of the gods, and descended into the depths of the void, observing the construction of the worlds of the Dragon Clan and the Phoenix Clan. The void is different from the chaos void. In Lee Hao's eyes, the small worlds in the chaos void are like weeds. They cannot be burned by wildfires, and they will grow again in the spring breeze. As long as the primordial star does not perish, the small worlds in the chaos void will continue to derive. But the void is not the case. The small worlds in the void attach great importance to the existence of order. Whether it is a world structure, the world promotion level, or even the evolution process of creatures, there must be detailed rules and generalizations. And the source of this rule making comes from the powerful civilization on the primordial star. For the Dragon Clan, a civilization that respects blood, in the Dragon Clan's heavens, any creature who wants to transcend the world must climb according to the blood level set by the Dragon Clan. Only higher level blood can have the opportunity to transcend the world. As for other strange ideas, under the suppression of the world and all living beings, there is no possibility of birth. Deep in the void, Aoshan's existence attracts the historical information of the dragon race in the void. These historical information generated from the activity trajectory of the dragon race on the prehistoric star is one of the foundations for constructing the dragon race's heavens. According to the original revelation, Aoshan used his power beyond the ancient gods to create a unique middle thousand world in the void, the Kangshan realm. The power of the ancient gods comes from the hedging of positive and negative emotional thinking, which just hedges against the positive and negative emotional thinking needed by the middle thousand world, achieving equality, thus constituting the resources needed to open up the middle thousand world. Theoretically, the power of the ancient gods can open up a middle thousand world. However, the reason why theory is that it is difficult to achieve, or even impossible to achieve. As gods of the same size as the small thousand worlds, they can open up the small thousand worlds by relying on the power of civilization and a positive emotional thinking that exists in the void. Therefore, they only need to take the lead in opening up the world of the heavens, so that the world of the heavens can naturally evolve into the world they need. For the ancient gods, opening up a middle thousand world requires extracting the negative emotional thinking in their bodies. Only then can the energy for promotion be injected into the middle thousand worlds. This practice of extracting oneself to replenish the world is equivalent to using one's own life to prolong the existence of the middle thousand worlds and provide the power for the evolution of the middle thousand worlds. You must know that if you want to replenish negative emotional thinking in Take-Two, it is equivalent to rebelling in the Taping era and will be suppressed by the entire Take-Two. Therefore, to open up the middle thousand worlds, at least you must have a powerful force that surpasses the ancient gods to open up the middle thousand worlds without injury. Deep in Take-Two, with Aoshan as the center, an extremely vast world gradually took shape under the leadership of Aoshan's will. This middle thousand world belonging to the Dragon Clan is the Kangshan realm. What is recorded in the Kangshan realm is the development history of the entire Dragon Clan. From the initial bloodline origin to the level beyond the ancient gods, where Aoshan is. Aoshan felt the feedback information from the Kangshan realm, and there was a little doubt in his blue pupils. I always feel like something is missing. Immediately, Aoshan used his powerful Yuanshan to sweep across the entire Kangshan realm, inch by inch, and minute by minute, to explore the situation in the Kangshan realm. This world lacks a promotion process. As Aoshan's soul fed back the information of the heaven realm to him, Aoshan finally understood what was missing in the heaven realm. That was a level division of the promotion of living beings, a level division of living beings that belonged to the dragon race. Unlike the rough division method before, what was missing in the heaven realm was a specific division method. The level division that was circulated in the prehistoric world before was too rough, just like the division method of the Golden Core realm, the Soul realm, and the Mahayana realm. All those who gave birth to souls and condensed golden cores were in the Golden Core realm. All those who achieved the Soul realm without accepting the positive and negative impact were in the Soul realm, and all those who completed the positive and negative impact were in the Mahayana realm. Not to mention how correct these division methods are. Let's say that according to the 3-level division method, Aoshan also belongs to the Mahayana realm. But in terms of combat effectiveness and even information processing capabilities, Aoshan can beat the entire dragon race. So what Aoshan needs now is a level division that can accurately measure all aspects of standards, so that the creatures existing in the thousand worlds can rely on Aoshan's classification of levels, and can step by step climb to the level of gods, or even higher levels. And this step is the necessary order that exists in Take-Two. Aoshan's Yuanshan sensed that in Take-Su, with the influence of the middle thousand worlds, the small thousand worlds, that are constantly gathered and derived. No mistakes. One sentence, one post, one content, 1619, one book, one bar. Take a look. After a little thought, Aoshan began to establish the promotion method of the Dragon Clan and the world of the Dragon Clan. It is roughly divided into magical powers, earth changes, celestial phenomena, and gods and demons. Among them, magical powers correspond to golden elixirs. In Aoshan's view, the bloodline structure of the Dragon Clan is very successful. As long as a creature has a trace of dragon blood in its body, once it is activated, it can soar into the sky until it becomes a god. Therefore, Aoshan does not care about the initial stage of dragon evolution. The hierarchical order divided by Aoshan for the Dragon Clan is specifically presented in the divine class. Earth change. After the creatures have continuously developed the dragon blood in their bodies and mastered a large number of magical powers, they have become the first level after becoming gods. The way to practice at this level is to continuously develop other blood inheritances in the Dragon Clan, so as to master all the blood derivative methods in the Dragon Clan. The steps of practice are changes. 36 changes in one day are qualified, 72 changes are excellent, and 108 changes are perfect. Celestial phenomenon, the second level of gods after the earth change is perfect. Through the dragon blood developed in the body, the power contained in the dragon blood is mastered. Because the Dragon Clan merged its blood into the power of heaven and earth, the celestial dragon god can master the power of heaven and earth through the dragon blood. When the celestial dragon god completely completes the mastery of power, it is the third level of gods, and demons. Gods and demons are a special stage, second only to the ancient gods, and are an important gateway for promotion to the ancient gods. Therefore, the condition required to promote gods and demons is to use one's own power to create a pseudo-god realm in the void. This pseudo-god realm is a simple version of the middle thousand worlds. It has a world order formed by the combination of all powers, but it lacks the energy of negative emotions and thoughts. When the pseudo-god realm of the god-demon-dragon god is completely constructed, as long as a part of the negative emotions and thoughts are absorbed, it will be possible to naturally advance to the ancient god realm. Chapter 97 The Ancient Gods Define the Systems. Take-Su, when Aoshan was dividing the system levels for the Dragon Clan, in another place in Take-Su, Huangshan was also contributing to the construction of the Phoenix Clan. Unlike the Dragon Clan's hierarchy system based on bloodline, the hierarchy system designed by Huangshan for the Phoenix Clan is a heavenly system. Unlike the Dragon Clan, which has 300 years of development time, the Phoenix Clan has less than 30 years of history from its birth to the present due to various historical problems. The birth of the entire Phoenix Clan was based on the immortal will bestowed by Li Hao to Huangshan, and with the immortal will as the foundation, the entire Phoenix Clan was derived at this time. The Phoenix Clan was born with the destiny of heaven. As long as the destiny of the Phoenix Clan has not been cut off, the Phoenix Clan will never perish with the immortal will obtained from Li Hao, and the Phoenix Clan will not be destroyed. The mission of the Phoenix Clan is to stop the expansion of the Dragon Clan, and even become the lifelong enemy of the Dragon Clan, and promote the prosperity of the Honghuang Star. And nothing can compare to taking on the will of the strong to improve the overall strength of the Phoenix Clan more quickly. The heavenly position system is based on the divine fire. Through a firm will, one can ignite the fire of one's soul, thus burning away all distractions in one's soul. Through the burning of the divine fire, one's soul can be brought closer to the primordial spirit of the Phoenix Clan's ancestor, Huangshan, and reach a level that is farther from the mortal world and closer to the heaven. The heavenly position system is divided into divine fire, heavenly position, great heavenly position, and strong heavenly position. The divine fire is the foundation for the Phoenix Heavens to transcend the world, just like the magical powers of the Dragon Clan. Without the divine fire, defined by Huangshan, there is no chance of transcendence in the Phoenix Heavens. The divine fire burns the impurities of the soul, and the soul is transformed into the primordial spirit, thus reaching the heavenly position, where heaven and man are one. In the heavenly position, condensing the Phoenix will is qualified. Condensing the Phoenix Phantom is excellent, and condensing the Phoenix will into the ancient God will is perfect. When the phoenix god of the heavenly position has perfectly condensed the ancient god will, it can receive the power of the phoenix ancestor Huangshan, thereby being promoted to the great heavenly position, and then having the qualifications to control all the powers of the phoenix clan. The great heavenly position and the dragon clan's heavenly phenomenon level are similar. The main purpose is to control all the powers of the clan, and then build a pseudo-god realm, to advance to the strong heavenly position. The pseudo-god realm owned by the strong heavenly position is the same as the pseudo-god realm owned by the dragon clan's god-demon level dragon god. They are all just a negative emotional thinking away from being promoted to the ancient god. The difference between the two lies only in the overall situation of the dragon clan and the phoenix clan. The pseudo-god realm of the god-demon level dragon god comes from the dragon clan civilization, and the pseudo-god realm of the strong heavenly position phoenix god comes from the phoenix civilization. When the two civilizations go to war, the pseudo-god realms of the two will naturally develop inexplicable hostility towards the enemy's pseudo-god realm, and then develop to the point of no end. The weak are influenced by the strong are influenced by civilization, and civilization is influenced by the ancestors of the two clans. The resulting order hierarchy is constructed one level at a time, with the only two middle thousand worlds in Takesu, the Kangshan realm and the Chitian realm gradually took shape under the operation of Aoshan and Huangshan. The war between the Dragon Clan and the Phoenix Clan officially moved from space to the void. Unlike the battle in space, only Aoshan and Huangshan, two powerful beings who surpassed the ancient god level, could fight each other. In the void, any powerful being at the level of a god could fight to the death with the enemy god in the void. In the void, as the two realms of the heavens expanded crazily in the void, the territory in the void was constantly occupied by Aoshan and Huangshan. The distance between the two was constantly shrinking, and in the end, the two collided like Mars hitting the Earth. Boom. A roar that seemed to exist in a trance, and seemed to not exist, swept from somewhere in the void. Circles of ripples composed of order spread out to the surroundings between the collisions of the two, like water waves in a lotus pond. In this violent collision, countless small worlds like dust and sand were turned into ruins by this great collision. The broken pieces of the world were scattered all over the void, forming obscure and inexplicable illusions. In the depths of the void, Li Hao's divine eyes followed the wandering trajectory of the broken pieces of the world, exploring where these pieces of the world would eventually go. As the master behind the scenes of the Great Desolation Star, Li Hao had the ability to split the consciousness into millions. In Li Hao's observation, most of the world fragments gradually disappeared into the void as the void wore away, thus returning to their original origins. Only a small part of the world fragments passed through the material boundary between the chaotic void and the ordered void. The large amount of information carried by themselves was spread to the Great Desolation Star, thus turning into various inexplicable revelations. The fragments carrying less information were like fleeting inspirations, either recorded by living beings or disappeared directly. And those fragments carrying a large amount of information turned into dreams or mirages, appearing in various places on the Great Desolation Star, thus bringing opportunities to all living beings. There are also some people who can carry information and connect it into a whole. They are resurrected again in the Hangliang Star by rebirth. Of course, this situation is too rare. After all, the Hangliang Star at this time is not like the era of information explosion on Earth. People have accumulated a lot of complicated information consciously or unconsciously, which may be useless in normal times. But once this kind of creature that receives the information explosion is like the world fragments shuttling through the material boundary, it may be able to enjoy the benefits of rebirth. With the large number of collapsed world fragments in the void, they either disappeared in the void or turned into the opportunity of all living beings in the Hangliang Star. Inspired by this, Li Hao thought of a particularly serious problem. That is, since the world fragments can reach the Hangliang Star by shuttling through the material boundary through information, then why don't those demon gods in the chaotic void come to the Hangliang Star? Thinking of this, Li Hao quickly activated his magic eyes in the chaotic void to observe everything in the chaotic void. Sure enough, almost as Li Hao guessed, at this time, a three-legged situation has emerged in the chaotic void. The three demons of heaven, earth and man have each opened up a pseudo-god realm, thereby suppressing one side of the void and building their own demon realm. Compared with the ordered void, the chaotic void does not need those complicated hierarchical orders. The initial level division is just suitable for the situation of the chaotic void. Each demon god is unique, so the way of dividing the hierarchical order does not hold here at all. As Liheo's demon eyes of the heavens looked through the void, the traces of the earth demon DKUI were exposed to Liheo in an instant. Just like observing the pattern in the palm of his hand, Liheo's pursuit of DKUI continued to the edge of the material boundary. Sure enough, at this time, the earth demon has crossed the material boundary and descended into the prehistoric star. Chapter 98, The Landlord arrives, and the heaven and earth shake. In the chaotic and disordered void, the three pseudo-god realms are like three ferocious beasts, lying across the disordered and chaotic void realm. The pseudo-god realm ruthlessly devours and crushes a vast amount of information that permeates the void and wipes out all the emotions and thoughts attached to this information, thus turning it into energy for itself to become stronger. In the earth demon realm, a dark halo of the devil god appears behind the earth demon lord Dicky. Between the shining halo, a large number of small worlds are destroyed and reborn, and the powerful divine power derived from the power of disaster permeates the void. Endless natural disasters, sins, and killings spread within the coverage of the earth demon's divine realm. The destruction of each world can provide Dicky with powerful power. The scarlet blood eyes are like bloodthirsty beasts, savagely sweeping across a large number of small worlds. All the worlds swept by Dicky's magic eyes will spontaneously erupt with a large number of natural disasters and earth disasters, subverting the operation of the small world and causing the world to collapse itself. Not enough. This is not enough. The power of the disaster has not yet reached the highest level. DKUI roared angrily like a raging lion king. As DKUI roared, waves of shaking ripples appeared in the void, stirring up the energy turbulence in the void. After a long time, the chaotic and disordered void finally calmed down gradually. However, compared with the previous chaotic time, the calm void at this time seemed more depressing. A low and hoarse voice echoed in the void. I heard that the material world is the origin of all the void heavens. Maybe there is something I need there. As DKUI's goal was determined, the huge continent that spanned the void drifted towards the material boundary like a space battleship. Wherever the demon continent passed, there were natural disasters and fragments of the broken and destroyed world. Wherever you look, everything is destroyed and everything is ruins. After a long time, the soul of the earth demon DKUI was like a phantom. After reaching the material boundary, it directly crossed the barrier of the material boundary and descended into the interior of the Hanghuang star. The material boundary is a transit station connecting the three realms of Takesu, the void, and the material world. It prevents Takesu and the void from connecting directly, but it does not prohibit powerful creatures from passing through the material world and reaching the other two realms. As the moment the earth demon DKUI crossed the material boundary and arrived inside the Hanghuang star, the aura of disaster in the entire Hanghuang star spread like billowing smoke to the entire Hanghuang world. Unlike the gods who condensed power with positive emotional thinking, the power and energy they used were traceable. As long as the right medicine is used, even ordinary things can avoid the occurrence of disasters through a lot of preparation. However, the demons who condensed power with negative emotional thinking are different. They launched disasters out of nothing, and there is no law to follow. The consequence of this is that as soon as Dicky arrived inside the primordial star, the disaster power that followed Dicky began to erupt recklessly in the primordial star. Countless volcanoes rose to the sky, hot magma spread to the land, and the volcanic ash that covered the sky and the sun once again blocked the brilliance of the stars. Everything seemed like yesterday, and the end of the world was once again staged inside the primordial star. In the vast and endless sky, the scarlet blood clouds gathered into a hideous face, and the sharp roar like the roar of a beast shook between heaven and earth. Fear, despair, give up all resistance under the power of disaster, and then merge with me, and we will ascend to the supreme realm together. During the period when Dicky invaded the primordial star, all the gods in the primordial star were thrown into the battlefield of the gods in Takesu to win a future of development for their own tribes. So during this period of time, Dicky who came to the primordial star was almost invincible. Countless destructive natural disasters and earth disasters, like Beethoven's Symphony of Destiny, are played madly under the control of the Earth King. Severe earthquakes, violent volcanoes, raging floods, changing weather, everything constitute a destructive disaster before the end of the world. On the earth, all the beasts are running wildly. The fear of death makes them at a loss. They can only vent their fear and despair through endless running. In the sky, the doomsday fire of destruction is like the judgment of the gods, carrying a dazzling brilliance, crashing towards the continent. As the continent with the most physical presence among the three poles of the prehistoric world, no matter which disaster in the prehistoric world, the figure of the continent is indispensable. The scorching doomsday fire cuts through the sky, and under the reflection of the beasts of the continent, it hits the land brazenly. The loud noise that shakes the world spreads throughout the prehistoric world in the wild laughter of the earth demon. The resulting giant shock wave swept across the entire continent, shattering all the giant peaks on the continent, turning them into ruins, burying traces of life. No mistakes. The destructive doomsday skyfire hit the entire prehistoric continent, setting off endless destruction and damage. The huge impact force tore the entire continent into 4 parts. Countless creatures died without a burial place in the disaster at this time. The emotions and thoughts of resentment and fear were like boiling water, boiling inside the entire prehistoric star. In the blood cloud in the sky, the earth demon watched the prehistoric continent gradually drifting in 4 directions, feeling the fear and despair from the prehistoric spirits, and couldn't help laughing. That's it. Only when despair overwhelms everything can you and I ascend to the supreme realm together. As the earth demon's laughter sounded between the prehistoric world, the disaster in the prehistoric world became more and more intense. On the vast land, a young golden dragon ape kept leaping and jumping on the tall sacred tree, avoiding the sky fire that kept falling from the sky and the panic-stricken beasts fighting in the forest. Boom. With a leap, the young golden dragon ape jumped onto a thick sacred tree, using the branches of the sacred tree to resist the attack from the earth demon. The thin palm pushed aside the leaves of the sacred tree, and the clear pupils looked at the blood in the sky, with a trace of fear and doubt in his eyes. At this time, the young golden dragon ape didn't understand what happened in this world. Since it was born, the place where it lived has been facing fighting and destruction. The threat from the sky is like a butcher knife hanging above its head, which may fall at any time and turn itself into a dead body. Finally, looking at the doomsday skyfire that kept falling from the sky, the young golden dragon ape returned to the sacred tree and looked at the word SUI written in the dragon language on the inner wall of the tree. This is its name. Chapter 99. Traveling through the wilderness with compassion for all living things. In the dim prehistoric world, all living things are extinct, and the despair from the oppression of death permeates the entire prehistoric world. Since Liheo came to this planet, the prehistoric planet has never been quiet. From the initial catastrophe of the rise of the dragon race, the catastrophe of the war between the dragon race and the sky race, the catastrophe of the competition between the earth dragon king within the dragon race, the catastrophe of the hatred between the dragon race and the phoenix race, and even the disaster of the invasion of the demon race. The continuous wars and catastrophes almost wiped out all the primitive life groups on the prehistoric planet. The remaining creatures are all dependent on Liheo's power. At this time, Liheo turned into a dark shadow, shuffled through the shadows under the sun, and walked on the prehistoric land. The soul felt the desolation that permeated the prehistoric world because of the extinction of living things, and couldn't help but say, this time it's a bit big. It's really troublesome. Snap, snap, snap. The dry branches made a crisp cracking sound under Liheo's feet. Liheo bent down, picked up the dry branches under his feet, closed his eyes, and felt a little life breath left in the branches. Listening to the wailing from the world, he suddenly opened his eyes and said, it seems that the time has come for a savior. I'm the one who destroyed the world, and I'm also the one who saved the world. Am I a good person or a bad person? Between the vast heaven and earth, Liheo tapped his head with his fingers and asked himself. However, no living being could answer this question. The different views and different positions made Liheo have no one to talk to. Liheo walked aimlessly on the vast prehistoric continent, looking for the destined person to save the world. The birth of the savior requires the prayers of all living beings, just as a hero is only a hero when he is needed. The savior can only be born when all living beings are desperate. accept the prayers of all living beings, lead all living beings out of disasters, and reach the other side of heaven. On the top of the towering mountain, Lee Heo sat on the edge of the cliff with his legs dangling in the air and his eyes closed. Through the power of chaos, he was looking for the savior in the prehistoric continent. In a world where people give up everything and wait for death because of despair, where there is chaos, there is hope. The powerful power of the power looked through the world and traveled through the sacred GD. Under the guidance of chaos, Lee Heo found the savior he was looking for. Compared with the calmness of other areas, only this place had very strong chaos fluctuations, which meant that there was hope in this place. When he found the savior he was looking for, Lee Heo's figure was like a fantasy. With the breeze blowing, he disappeared on the cliff, thus crossing thousands of distances and arriving at the location of the savior. When he arrived at the location of the savior, Lee Heo looked at a small golden dragon ape in front of him. From the place where the prehistoric information was stored, Lee Heo knew its name, SUI. At this time, SUI was guiding a group of life groups that took shelter under it to their station. As a race that almost became the overlord of the prehistoric continent, even if SUI was just an immature golden dragon ape, SUI's fighting power was better than other life groups. In this world, where the strength of the dragon blood determines the fighting power, the height of the blood of the golden dragon ape is the highest in the whole prehistoric world. At this time, SUI's fighting power and the blood pressure on other races were enough to make him qualified for the position of a lord. The reason why SUI gave shelter to weak creatures in this chaotic world was simply because SUI had an inexplicable impulse in his heart. This impulse made SUI feel pity for the weak creatures involuntarily, and thus contributed to SUI's transformation. Otherwise, as the ultimate war weapon born for fighting, it would be good for the golden dragon ape clan not to kill in this chaotic world, so how could they save some weak creatures? Lee Heo stood on a tree branch and watched quietly as SUI forcibly drove a group of weak tribes into a wide cave, just like a shepherd driving a flock of sheep. If Lee Heo hadn't known the era he was in, he might have really thought SUI was a human trafficker. In the wild era, even doing good deeds required violence as an aid. Lee Heo stood on the tree branch and waited quietly, waiting for SUI to come out of the cave. After a while, as SUI just emerged from the cave, Lee Heo's voice strangely appeared in SUI's ears. What's the point of doing this? Keeping a group of weak people in captivity as your own food? Who? SUI looked around vigilantly, and his cyan dragon pupils were like radars, searching for signs of the existence of living creatures around him. However, SUI was destined to be in vain. With SUI's ability, he still needed to practice for 1,000 or 800 years to discover Lee Heo's existence. No mistakes in one song, one post, one content, one book, one forum. Even Aoshan and Huangshan, the most powerful people in the prehistoric world at this time, wanted to find Lee Heo's existence, which was a wishful thinking. Seeing SUI's nervous expression, Lee Heo was unmoved, but his voice seemed to repeat mechanically, and he asked SUI his two questions again. I just did it according to my heart. All these actions were just to make me feel at ease. As for using them as food, I'm not that weak. SUI answered Lee Heo's questions carefully, while vigilantly looking around, hoping to find Lee Heo's presence. For your peace of mind, so as to remove the means of survival of these innocent creatures. Then when these creatures enter death because of you, can your heart be at peace? Lee Heo's question was like a question from heaven, ethereal and undetectable. I don't think so much. I just want to make me feel at ease and calm my heart. As for what consequences this will cause, I don't want to know, and I'm too lazy to know. SUI's words were extremely calm. It can be seen that SUI's action of rescuing the tribe of creatures at this time was completely just for his own pleasure. Lee Heo listened to SUI's answer and said with some dissatisfaction, you are not aware enough. I have to find a way to improve my ideological awareness. Immediately, Lee Heo's ethereal voice continued to spread to SUI's mind from all directions. You only consider the present, not the future. How will you, a person with such shallow knowledge, choose when facing difficulties in the future? Listening to Lee Heo's words, SUI roared impatiently around. You bastard pretending to be a ghost. If you have the guts, come out and fight me head on. If I say it hurts, I will be your grandson. As soon as SUI's words fell, A pressure from all directions pressed towards SUI's position like the sky. In an instant, it seemed as if the air condensed, and at this time, SUI was like a bug in amber under Lee Hao's power. Chapter 100 Yuan Shishian Qiwanling Festival. The terrifying pressure was like frozen ice, turning SUI into a lifelike beast statue. The violent storm blew SUI's golden hair that was as sharp as steel spikes. In the distance, the destructive storm caused by the changes in the world was rolling in this direction with unwavering steps. The endless wind and clouds rolled up everything between heaven and earth, tearing it into countless pieces. As Lee Hao suppressed all of SUI's actions, the voice of the heaven and earth sounded in SUI's ears again. How about it? Do you still want to fight me head on now? SUI's inner voice, under the perception of Lee Hao's soul, conveyed SUI's words to Lee Hao. What do you want to do? I don't think I'm qualified to negotiate with you and tell you your requirements. I like people like you who know the times, because it means that I don't need to waste my breath. My request is very simple. I want you to be the savior. Savior, do you think it is possible to save the world with my weakness? The demon god that emerged in the sky, his power is not something I can contend with. Even if the savior is to appear, it should be you. No, no, no. The savior is a great existence born in response to the prayers of all spirits. His role is not just powerful. Being powerful is only part of the savior. The savior should bring more hope to all spirits. At this time, when all spirits are waiting for death, only you still maintain a heart of salvation. I can't think of any other qualified candidates in the world except you. As for me, I'm just a ghost in this world. I do not belong to this world, and this world cannot accommodate my existence. Lee Hao's voice was like a breeze, echoing in all directions, as if in a dream. After a long time, Sue looked at the destructive storm that was spreading rapidly in the distance, and the devastating natural disaster force, and recalled Lee Hao's words in his mind. If you want to save the world, you can either carry the wishes of all living beings in your heart, and then use the power of all living beings to complete the feat of saving the world. Or you can leave the wishes of all living beings to the original will in the dark to decide, and see if your sincerity can move the original, so that the original can descend the sacredness to help you survive this catastrophe. Everything in the former depends on you, and the life and death of all living beings rotate in your hands. Everything in the latter depends on heaven, and everything will be decided by heaven. With his fists clenched, SUI roared with a ferocious face. Why me? Why do you want me to bear all this? Why is this? The violent roar was like the low roar of a giant beast, and waves were rippling around SUI. At this time, SUI hated himself very much for why he had all kinds of inexplicable sad emotions. Obviously, he only needed to be like his own kind, born to fight all his life, until he died in the end. Without so many troubles, without so much pain, he could spend his simple life. However, the wailing of the extinction of life constantly emerged in his consciousness, like the raging fire of purgatory, burning his heart. He could not rest at all. While SUI was worried and distressed about the upcoming natural disaster, Lee Hao was enjoying a wonderful candlelight dinner. A candlelight dinner with the wailing of all souls as the sonata, the raging fire of natural disasters as the light, and the destruction and chaos as the nourishment. While Lee Hao absorbed the chaotic power born from the disaster caused by the earth demon, he looked at SUI who was in inexplicable pain, and muttered to himself, the more you think, the closer you are to the position of the savior. The more painful you are, it means that you are constantly transcending your former self. He shifted his gaze from SUI to the other sentient beings who were now under the destructive natural disaster. A slightly angry word came out of Lee Hao's mouth. I've had enough of this simple world. The demons have clearly caused natural disasters in the entire world. When the world is on the verge of breaking, not only is there no living being able to stand up and lead all living beings to resist the natural disasters, there is not even a demon who takes advantage of the natural disasters to make trouble and strengthen himself. It's better for these silent lambs to die early. In Lee Hao's eyes, the world at this time is simply a dead water. No matter how big the impact is, it can't cause a ripple. From the advent of the demons to the rampant natural disasters, Lee Hao can guess the evolution of the entire prehistoric world with his eyes closed. Under the command of the dragon god, you were so brave and fearless before, and even dared to use your life to make a bloody way out. But now, after the dragon god disappeared, why did you become machines without thoughts, and only knew to escape when encountering unknown dangers? Without the slightest thought of resistance, you are now worse than you were when you were beasts. No mistakes. Even rabbits bite when they are anxious, and you are worse than rabbits. With his eyes closed, it seemed as if the voice of God rang in the world, like an illusion, but also like reality. If you still have value in existence, then prove it to me. The surging sea water broke through the dams formed by the peaks, irrigated the plains, and turned everything into a swamp hell. Let everything disappear in death. The violent storm of destruction was like an unstoppable beast, trampling on the barren land, flattening all obstacles on the earth, and moving forward in a straight line. It does not change according to anyone's will, and does not compromise with any living being. Wherever it passes, there is nothing but destruction and death. The violent wind lifted up the mountains, and shattered everything in the world. The wind and waves on the edge were like a cutting machine, blatantly smashing the cave, where SUI took in all living beings, turning it into a ruin. In the cave, the living beings waiting for the judgment of death fled in panic like frightened cubs at the moment when the light first appeared. However, the panic did not last long. With the sound of painful screams, the bloody smell of blood filled the sky and the earth, and all the panic stopped, as if the pause button was pressed. There were a total of 180,000 living beings saved by SUI from the doomsday disaster. Among these 180,000 living beings, each had a different race and each had a different form. During the 300 years of fighting and conquest of the dragon clan, the dragon blood had been blended and mutated layer by layer, and the dragon descendants who had once walked out of the ocean had long since changed their original appearance. However, what these dragonborns have in common is that they all have dragon blood in their bodies, and SUI's golden dragon ape blood just suppresses all the dragonborns present. Roar. A high-pitched dragon roar roared out from SUI's throat, a roar unique to the golden dragon ape, which brought these dragonborns back to the fear of their ancestors facing the golden dragon ape. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.